right lane is closed there. We also have a closure out in Barkhamsted. Route 219. That's closed at 318 and Rutland Road. They had a tree rip down some wires there. Delays reported down in New Haven. Southbound 95, backups between exits 44, that's the Kimberly Ave exit, to exit 40 due to some late running road work. They should be wrapping that up within the next hour or so. Let's check in with Jason Catarina. He has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Well, the rest of our Monday, it'll be mild with occasional rain and drizzle, so make sure you keep the umbrella handy. A breeze this afternoon, the high of 59. Clear and cooler tonight, the low dipping down to 36. Now sunny and pleasantly warm over the next couple of days, as a matter of fact, starting Tuesday with the high of 63. Clear skies Tuesday night, chilly again with the low right back down to 36. On Wednesday, sunshine will be mixing with some clouds at times. A very pleasant day with the high of 66. Thursday, the low clouds break for some sun at times. It'll be breezy in the afternoon with a couple of showers, so make sure you take your umbrella when you head out. Still mild with the high of 58. Now Friday, couple of flurries in the morning, otherwise windy and cooler during the day. We'll have the clouds giving way to some sun, the high of 47. Then cloudy and not as cool to kick off the weekend. Saturday, still breezy, the high back up to 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Markets beginning the new week in positive territory. Dow's up over 470 points, and NASDAQ's up 146, and the S&P's ahead 58. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish. And you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Painteris & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just
1 minute.
for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Yeah!
Hey, yo! Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese's on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I think that just because we need to do this upright. Well, hello there, and welcome to Reese on the Radio. I'll be your humble host, Reese on Radio. It's St. Patrick's Day. How are you doing out there? I'll say a bunch of Irish words like shillelagh, four-leaf clover, or hula hands. And that would be all I need to do to show my representation for the good Irish folks across the land, especially there in the Nutmeg State. And welcome to your afternoon drive home. Remember, if you have a pint, drink responsibly. My wife and I actually saw a float, a St. Patrick's Day float over the weekend, and this is gonna, I know exactly I'm gonna get when I say it. But I looked, and the float was coming down, and it was, I don't know why, but it was nothing but black folks on one float coming through an Irish parade. And I looked at my wife, and I said, oh, that must be the O'Jacksons. I thought it was brilliant. My wife said, please do not speak for the rest of the parade, which I did not. I've got to talk about so much, and it's crazy the way these things happen, but I got to talk about Chris Murphy today, Chuck Schumer, and what can only be described as mayhem going on in the Democrat Party, which I should be celebrating. As many of you are out there just going, oh, look at them, they're going for each other's throats. Not particularly. They're trying to coalesce. We'll get into that. I've also got some very, very bad news about the business that I just sold, got rid of, and of course, my first weekend off in, 20 years. I'm officially, I guess you can call it unofficially retired from working, with the exception of this great show here and this great network. But I'm technically, this is not work for me. This is fun. I have a blast. Even when the subjects are serious and critical and important, what I do here is not work to me. But I got to talk about, it couldn't have been 3 days, and it's already gone straight to hell. And I'll talk about that later on, so stick around for that. But let me get into this thing with Chris Murphy, Chuck Schumer, Dick Blumenthal, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's in our stupidest thing I've read today. Rama, who's in the chat room, and one of the first, I have to say, one of the original scallywags with Michael B. and Michael A. Rama, in particular, loves my recall, as he calls it. Like, I can remember things from my childhood or things in politics or things in me. I never let them go. And they're important to me, very, very important to me. And I got to thinking how weird it is that on Monday morning, we are talking about people getting rid of what can only be described as a pillar of the Democrat Party, a leader who fought, scraped his way to the top of the heap, which is where he is today, Chuck Schumer. Now, don't get me wrong, I never liked the guy politically. I didn't like him personally either, but I didn't hate him. I always thought he was kind of a scum. But I got no, he doesn't affect me in any real way. Politically, he does, but not in any real way. So Chuck Schumer, who has fought really, really hard to get out of New York City and become a national figure, a powerhouse, if you will, in the Democrat Party, I would suggest that any calls for removing Chuck Schumer would be getting rid of a whale of a Democrat. He is. He's not a shark. There are plenty of sharks. There's Adam Schiff, Don Goldman, is that his name is? Goldberg, whatever. Yeah, Goldman, whatever his name is. There are even some little piker sharks, little hammerhead sharks like Eric Swalwell. Those are the guys who were very, very vocal. We got piranha fish in the Democrat Party. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the aforementioned Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs. But if there's a whale, it's Chuck Schumer. And I got to be honest with you, folks. I got to be honest with you. The knives are coming out for Chuck Schumer. And folks, they're going to get rid of him. They're going to find a way to get rid of him. Think about how bad it is. Chuck Schumer was supposed to start a book tour on anti-Semitism, one he wrote, but he had to cancel. Clearly not because of backlash by Republicans. We're applauding him. Even Donald Trump sent him a nice little Truth Social message. Thanks, Chuck. Good job. But Chuck Schumer had to cancel his book tour because of Democrats, because it's too dangerous.
The backlash from the left is real. In fact, Wolf, Chuck Schumer is scheduled to do a book tour in a number of cities on a book that he has authored on anti-Semitism. He has just canceled that book tour, we are learning, because of protests that were scheduled from activist groups who wanted to go after his decision to agree and allow the government funding bill to go forward to avoid a government shutdown. They were furious at his decision to do that. It just shows you the anger on the left and the Democratic Party. Can they get it back together at this key moment when they are essentially leaderless in a lot of ways, essentially don't have a strategy on how to fight back against Trump and have all this unrest on the Democratic base? That's going to be a big question for Schumer, but interesting that he decided to cancel this event. They're citing security concerns, but there were these large-scale protests, at least some protests scheduled outside these events.
Security concerns at the whale Chuck Schumer's book event. The titular leader of the Democrat Party can't even be seen in public. And then I remembered a TV show that I watched a long time ago. And I looked it up and I said, I remember this TV show. It was huge. It was a huge show. And the title of the show, they even had a song for it. And when I went back and listened to the song, I said, how appropriate is this? It's St. Patrick's Day. The Democrats are trying to put a political shiv in a whale of a man, Chuck Schumer. I thought it appropriate to play today, A Whale for the Killing.
So Leader Schumer had
a whale for the killing.
Put aside your plow, come and hear me now. You've a back that's strong and willing. Help us man our crew, there's a job for you. There's a whale for the killing.
Politically, just politically.
If you've been to war and destroyed the boar, let the farmer do the tilling. There's a penny or two to make for you. There's a whale for the killing.
Politically, just politically.
Hoist, hoist, heave, we're men of the northern sea. We'll wait for the whaler's moon to bloody our steel harpoons for a life at sea where the spirit's free. See the humpback's trail, hear the sound of her dying wail.
Oh, his dying wail.
Now down at CD, how will it advance you one for shilling? And once at sea, all the rum's for free. There's a whale for the killing.
Politically, just politically. No real killing.
Whaling's done, while you'll have more fun with ladies that are win. For a true strong man, 'tis a life what's grand. There's a whale
for the killing.
There's a whale
for the killing. Politically. And Chuck Schumer's the guy. They're sharpening their knives. They're getting out their shivs. They're going after him. Chuck Schumer's got no chance of sticking around. They asked Chris Murphy about it on the Sunday shows. Hey, Chris, do you have any faith in Chuck Schumer?
So Leader Schumer has a very difficult job. I don't envy the job that he has. And the question is really for the members of his Democratic caucus. Are we willing to fight, right? I admit that it would take some risk-tolerant behavior in order to effectively stand up to this president. And so the question really is, for my party writ large, are we willing to do the very difficult things necessary to meet this moment?
Do you think,
Like getting rid of Schumer?
that Leader Schumer is the best person to lead your caucus in this moment?
Senator Schumer certainly can lead this caucus.
Is he the best person?
He can lead this caucus, but we need to have a conversation.
Can he lead this caucus? Can he lead this caucus, Chris? Yeah, no, I mean, he could.
Inside the caucus about whether we are willing to stand up to Republicans. Listen, we have options. We could decide to not proceed to legislation as an ordinary course of business. There are big fights ahead of us, like the debt ceiling, like another potential government shutdown in 6 months. So we have opportunities as a caucus to stand up and meet this moment. And I think,
Yeah, he's pretty much just saying that there's a likelihood very soon that he's going to caucus with the caucus and get rid of Schumer. I thought this was an interesting question because Kristen Stewart, is that her name? Kristen Stewart from Meet the Press. She said that there are people online saying that Chris Murphy should take over.
You posted a video explaining your vote, what you called a very difficult moment. Many of your supporters responded online saying you should replace Leader Schumer. Is that something that you would consider? Would you consider that role?
Now, look, the answer should be, if asked, I'd consider it. If asked, if that were to happen, of course I would take the reins. That would be the smart thing to answer. You don't have to put the guy, you don't have to throw him under the bus. You just say, if called to serve, I would. But see, his answer is telling here. It's so telling. Listen close.
I mean, I don't think anybody's having that conversation.
Yes, they are. Of course they are. Your followers are having that conversation. You're everywhere. You're on television. You're even in the news. By the way, I got 2 great articles about him, too. Of course, if they're calling on you, you should answer that. Answer your constituents, Chris.
Right now, what's important is that we meet this moment. And what I'm telling you is that if we continue to observe norms, if we continue to engage in business as usual, this democracy could be gone. I don't think we have a year to save American democracy. I think the way the president is acting, using law enforcement to target dissidents, harassing TV stations and radio stations that criticize him, endorsing political violence, puts our democracy at immediate risk. So if you are a Democrat in the Senate or in the House, you have to start acting with urgency. And that is the conversation that we have to start having inside our caucus.
So he's saying that we need to have a conversation inside the caucus, but will not answer whether or not he should be in charge. Now, I'll be honest with you, folks. Chris Murphy cannot be in charge. He can't. Chris Murphy is never going to be chosen to be in charge. First of all, he's polling horribly. I don't even think he's on the top 10 poll. I think he's on the poll, but I think if he's anywhere, I think he's ranking somewhere near 4%, probably lower. Tim Walz is on that poll. Kamala Harris is on that poll. But number 1 on that poll, nobody. But number 2 is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's going to be the front runner. The Democrat Party is too left. It's too left of center. It's so far left, there isn't a left. And the next leader is going to have to be a Latina woman. It's either that or Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs. And you can forget about it. You think those 2 women were not going to go full bore woke? You don't think that they're going to, they're not going to go full bore on a transgender thing? You don't think so? You don't think they're going to mandate that men and biological men playing women's sports? Oh, yeah, you can damn well bet they cannot elect a white guy. Chris Murphy wants to be there. He can scream and holler all day. Try to get his caucus to say, yeah, you know what, we should let Chris lead, but they're not going to let him. Not with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the front runner. But he's everywhere. Washington Examiner. Dems have a Chris Murphy problem. This one, Dems are now courting men. Chris Murphy can't court men. Not in a traditional way. He can't. How's Chris Murphy going to court men? That guy? Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut also notes liberal squeamishness about masculine themes. He says the party is losing male voters in part because even talking about the need to improve the lives of men could run afoul with what he calls the word police. First of all, Chris Murphy, that's your big problem. You cannot improve the lives of men. Men do not rely on government to improve their lives. They don't. Women do. Women lean on the government. It's been that way since the welfare state, my friend. The Democrat Party, he thinks, has been purposeful enough in opening up a conversation with men in general and young men specifically. There is a reluctance inside the progressive movement to squarely acknowledge gender differences. And that has really put us on our back foot. Of course it has, because you have no intention of being a forceful. I'm sorry, you're just not that guy. Chris, let's be honest. You're not that guy. You're like Will Ferrell in that Dad's movie. Or like Jonathan Lithgow. You know? You're a very kiss your dad on the mouth kind of guy. As an adult. You're that guy. No one sees you as masculine. Okay? Seriously. I don't know how he's going to talk to men. But this one too, before we take a break. Washington Examiner, Dems Chris Murphy problem. This week, he released an unhinged video talking about how Trump disappeared the guy, Mahmoud Khalil. Didn't I mention that? Trump has always been blessed. This is another pull quote from that article in the Washington Examiner. Trump has always been blessed with incompetent enemies, and Murphy's determination to become the face of the Democrat resistance to him is another blessing. Murphy's apparent inability to tell the truth, his campaign is undermining the legitimacy of federal courts, and his determination to defend the Khalils of the world make him an ideal Trump foil. His false representation of the facts in the Khalil case showed that he knows its realities support Trump's actions. The guy is a mess. But if he wants to be the leader of the Democrat Party, the way in which he's going on all of these shows, he's got to take out Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Not much of a whale. When I see what the Democrat Party thinks of a straight white male taking out a Latina princess, that would be interesting. We'll take your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. That's 860-522-9842. When we return, it's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768A, D104014665, E1185643, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM304646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Hey, it's Jim Costa with Cash the Ticket. It's March, so Mike Valeni and I are all over the tournament again this year. There's just nothing like betting in March. Breakdowns of every region and every game. From conference tournaments to the Final Horn, we'll have the picks and the plays on every single game. Cinderella spotlights, upset alerts, and some of that value for the last team standing. It's tourney time, so hunker down and bet the board with us. Subscribe and listen to Cash the Ticket in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and on your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Northeast Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Police in New Haven say an 8-year-old boy died last night in an accidental shooting. Police were called around 11 to a home, found the child on the kitchen floor. He was pronounced dead at Yale, New Haven, and that investigation is ongoing. A pedestrian is recovering after being struck by a vehicle Sunday in East Hartford. The accident between the pedestrian and vehicle occurred in the area of Burnside Avenue and Hillside Street. Police
Clear and cooler tonight, the low dipping down to 36. Now sunny and pleasantly warm for us on Tuesday, and we'll ride that warming trend right into midweek. The high up to 63 on Tuesday. Clear and cool Tuesday night, the low down to 36. Sunny on Wednesday, mixing with some clouds at times. Warmer, though, the high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's 49 right now in Hartford from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Rocky Hill. Looks like there's a 2-vehicle crash on 91 South, the area of exit 23 and 22S. That has the left lane blocked. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
This year, celebrate Easter at either Evergreens at the Simsbury Inn or Seasons in the Avon Old Farms Hotel. You'll enjoy a gourmet buffet featuring traditional Easter dishes, live music, and there will be appearances from the Easter Bunny. For just $79.95 per adult, you can get out of the kitchen, relax, and enjoy Easter. There are seatings at each location between 10:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. For a reservation at Evergreens, call 860-392-0309. For a reservation at Seasons, call 860-269-0240. Reservations will go fast, so call and make your reservation today. Celebrate Easter Sunday this year with us at either Evergreens or Seasons.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D1040145, D1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite Matt. Matt, come in, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.deal and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
And a happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. I don't even remember the last time I celebrated St. Patrick's Day, but I always had fun whenever I did. I hope all of you are doing the same. And it is a fun day. Thank you, Michael A. To be honest with you, I really love an Irish jig. How do you listen to that and not enjoy it? We saw some little kids dancing on the float. It was cute. And they're so dedicated. And not once did I ask for, where's that Lord of the Dance guy? Never once. I will tell you this, before I get to the phones. I will tell you this. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life in my life is this. I've never been, I've never paid for a ticket, I've never gone to see it, but I've seen the commercials. But every time I see it, I say to myself, I should go. And that is, I know you all are going to know it, to go see Celtic Woman. Have you ever heard of that? Roland, please tell me you've heard of Celtic Woman.
I have not.
You have not? Look it up right now. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go look at it. And look, I will tell you right off the bat, I do not discriminate. I believe that women are beautiful. But there's just something about redheads. Just something. My first big crush. My first real big crush was Tina Marie. That was the first white woman I ever fell in love with. I mean, you can't argue with Tina Marie. You hear that woman sing soul, and then you look at her and you just go, goodness gracious. Okay? My second love affair with a white woman happened to be Bernadette Peters. That's another thing. I don't want to get into that. That's another story. Apparently, you see a pattern going, right? And then I fell in love with Molly Ringwald. And again, you know, she's my age. I was a big fan of Molly Ringwald. And she, you know, I grew out of that. But redheads are gorgeous. But then I saw Celtic Woman, and I just went, what in the heck is this? And they're beautiful, and they sing beautifully. Tina Louise. No, Tina Louise. Okay, I'll give it to her. I'm sorry. Tina Louise, you ever have, I'll put it to this way. I look at Tina Louise like German chocolate cake, and then I look at Marianne as apple pie. You know that the German chocolate cake is good, but it's decadent, right? It's like, it's supposed to be good. But apple pie is something, but every guy I've ever talked to has always said, you know, when you said that comparison to, you know, Ginger versus Marianne, right? Marianne. Everybody goes, yeah, I picked Marianne. I don't know. It's just a wholesome thing. In my view, she was just prettier. But you couldn't put her up against Jeannie. Couldn't do that. Ever. But nonetheless, redheads, Celtic Woman. If you've never seen it, go look them up. Beautiful. Flawless. Porcelain divas. That's what they are. And Margaret, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, Bernadette Peters, yeah. And Rita Hayworth, yeah. But you couldn't really see Rita Hayworth because there was a lot of black and white film. Anyway, I'm off on a tear here. I'm just saying, it's just Irish, that look is just beautiful. It just is. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But I want to wish everybody a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. And like I said, be careful. Drink responsibly. Be careful. Help your fellow man. Get them home. And, you know, just be good to each other, as I always say. All right, let's go to Matt in Bristol. How we doing, Matt?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How you doing?
How are you, sir? Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Yeah, and you as well. And let me say before I get into what I called about.
Okay.
The Chris Murphy and kissing his dad in the lips might be the grossest thing you ever said in your life. That one made me cringe. That one made me cringe, Dave.
I was trying to paint a picture from that movie. What's that movie called? What was that movie called with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell? Is it Stepdads?
Oh.
Or Dads? Something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, but there's this scene with John Lithgow and and Will Ferrell when they greet and they kiss each other square on the mouth. And I'm just like, okay. So that was the point. That was the picture I was trying to paint here. But go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did paint the picture, and it was not pleasant. But so I was listening to. I just caught up and listened to your Sunday show.
Okay.
Now, with your chore list, with your painting and your sock folding and your landscaping and dusting. Most guys I'd give 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 months because I think you're more stubborn than most.
Okay.
But in 2 months from now, let me know if you're still doing those things.
If I'm still okay.
I guarantee.
So you have to check right. You have to check out the Sunday show, and you can find that at reasonradio.com and on the Odyssey app to understand what Matt's talking about. So I'm officially retired or unofficially retired, And I'm starting to do chores around the house. I cleaned my office. I did laundry. I even did a little bit of yard work. I cleaned out the garage. And after I was done, I was literally looking around trying to figure out what I was supposed to do next. And what Matt is suggesting here is this will last about 2 months. Oh, and I also suggested I was going to take up dusting. Dusting.
Yeah, dusting and landscaping.
And landscaping, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
To which Matt is saying is only going to last about 2 months. Matt, stick around because trust me, I'm going to tell you how you might be right, and it may not be 2 months. I'll explain that shortly in the next hour. I promise I will.
Okay, buddy. Thank
you. Thank you, man. You too. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Jim is in Wellington. How are you, Jim?
Yes, sir. I'll take it back a little bit. Maureen O'Hara in The Quiet Man.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Now, see, you guys are a little bit older than me. Now I got to check my database because I'm like, oh, I do remember. Maureen O'Hara's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. If you look at her in that movie, it's a dated movie. You probably couldn't make that today. It's politically incorrect.
No.
But she had the beauty and she had the rage. And there's quite and the passion, by the way.
You want to hear? You want to hear a crazy thing that I heard? Speaking of redheads, which I thought was crazy, and I don't even know what. Somebody may have to correct me. Maybe she wasn't a natural redhead, but I know she was a redhead for most of her career. And I saw some modeling pictures of this actress, and she was stunning. None other than Lucille Ball. Have you ever seen those photographs of her?
Yeah, but she was not a natural redhead.
Okay, she wasn't natural? Okay. That I thought was okay, she wasn't. I knew that it's something in my heart said she wasn't a natural redhead, but I did see some photographs of her, some black and white photos, and I almost didn't recognize her.
But she along with Desi Arnaz, way ahead of their time. They were excellent executives in Hollywood. They came up with techniques for filming that started on her show.
That's right.
That went well beyond, which is off topic. Hey, the one thing I wanted to just mention and then get off the air.
Yeah.
Anybody out there wants to read the Federalist Papers, knock yourself out, and then ask yourself how some judge in the middle of wherever he was, Seattle, I'm not sure where he was.
Yeah.
Makes the ruling that he makes, and then let him hold himself accountable. Let him be held accountable in front of Congress.
Are you talking about the judge that tried to put the kibosh on removing gang members from the country?
Yeah.
Who's the guy who wants to sign his name to that decree? Like, who's the moron?
Well, here's my point about it. If a judge, any judge, under any topic, wants to sit in front of Congress, let the judicial committees, on the Senate and the House, bring any judge they want to explain how he came up with the ruling he came up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for hanging everybody out to dry like so many people have done to people on the right for so long.
Yeah.
I want to know what this guy was thinking and what rule he came up with. Oh, and by the way, Congress, they can impeach this guy.
I understand that process is beginning. I think Gillis is his name, the Representative Gillis. And I'll double check in that. I think that there are some impeachment proceedings, or at least the process of having this judge impeach, because this is insane.
Well, listen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead.
I don't want the guy impeached per se. I want him him or any judge to come in
Indeed.
front of Congress. That's all I want. I want an explanation. I want him to come out from behind the black robe, so to speak, and explain your position to the American people.
And I know, you know what? And I know the two people to give him the questioning you're talking about. None other than Josh Hawley and John Kennedy of Louisiana. Both of those men would take a cleaver to every argument he had to explain why he would be fighting for the so-called constitutional rights of illegal gang members or terrorists, for that matter.
Yeah. And then I'll leave you one other thing, if I might.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you another redhead, but you're not going to be happy if I mention her name.
Okay, you know what?
So you want to go down on a positive note or a negative note?
Just go. I'll give you this one. If it's really bad, then you have to give me a positive. Who's the negative?
It's not really bad. How about Kathy Griffin, the comedian?
A long time ago. A long time ago.
Well, she's the one that was famous for.
I know, holding up the severed head thing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, give me a good one to let you go. At least another one.
Oh my, a good one to let you go. I'll tell you what. My wife, because I thought she was a redhead the first time I saw her, and she wasn't. So that's how I'm going to end it.
You know what? That's a safe bet, my friend. I appreciate
Best
you.
Best thing that ever happened to me.
I hear you. Hey, I know how you feel.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up the whole redhead thing because I know that's going to take a life of its own. So why not? If you know a great Irish redhead, somebody that I'm not considering, let me know. At 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Again, like I said, I grew up with, I don't know, just you see somebody with red hair and you just go, wow. Now, I've seen, I'm not talking, Ralph Malph from Happy Days. I'm talking about beautiful red-haired women. Just beautiful. Scarlett Johansson, not a redhead, but attractive. Scarlet Black Widow red hair. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can say that beyond a shadow of a doubt. We'll take a break. We got more news, more views. We also got a state senator, Jason Perillo. He's going to come on the air to talk about this case in Waterbury with, what's her name? Karen Sullivan, the woman who was keeping her stepson in captivity, allegedly, for 20 years. We'll talk about that. Also, later on today, tomorrow is supposed to be the big day at the Hartford Board of Education. You guys remember that. We'll keep you posted on anything that I have from that. In fact, I have a text message I need to read about that as well. So stick around. We got a lot of stuff to get into this Monday. We've got the auto pen, a whole bunch of stuff when we return. So stick around. Your phone calls as well at 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit ConsumerCellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business?
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were...
1 minute.
We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free and information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-921-5252. 800-922-5252.
Here we go.
That's 800-921-5252.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I can definitely agree in the chat room. Lori says Rachel McAdams and Amy Adams, of course. Nicole Kidman. Craig, I'm going to go very early, Nicole Kidman. Gillian Anderson. Yeah, I'll go there. Gillian Anderson, okay. There's apparently a lot of redheads, I forgot. But Rachel McAdams, definitely. Amy Adams, clearly. Is Isla Tyler, who's often confused with Amy Adams, is she a redhead, a natural redhead? Michael A., yes, we did say Anne Margaret. Everybody goes back to Anne Margaret. Always. I'm watching Reacher, the season 3 of Reacher, and Anne Margaret is mentioned in one of the episodes I heard yesterday. Anne Margaret, green sweater. Let's go back to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Chip is in Coventry. How we doing, Chip?
Hey, Reese.
What's up, buddy?
Man.
What's up, buddy?
Good morning. Hey. Well, yeah, real quickly, I was like, I'm on hold. I'm like, let me think of the 2 redheads. Number 1, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
Remember
I was
her?
16. I'm crazy about her. I grew up in Molly Ringwald. I would watch any movie she was in.
and I cheated while I was on hold. Lindsay Lohan. I don't think she's that attractive. She's
okay.
Like,
Lindsay Lohan had a peak that was right before the whatever the case was, alcohol, drugs, whatever the case was. She went like in a spiral.
Drugs, yeah.
There was this one peak. I interviewed her dad.
Really?
And, yeah, I did an interview with him back in 2012, around 2012. I did an interview with him, and he was working really, really hard to get her career back on track. And he was thinking about getting her a reality show at the time, but she was struggling. But that point right there, 2012, was right before it went off the rails. But you're right, Lindsay Lohan, she was a little young, but you're right, she attractive redhead.
Okay, and I want to say this about the TDA because I can't pronounce Trans Viagra.
Yeah, it's okay. TDA is okay.
Yeah, I can't. TDA. So, I was watching, I watch Fox News. To me, that's real news. But anyway, so this judge, a couple things. What's in it for him? Why would he even consider, and now they're saying doing this, that all
Trump.
depends.
It's just Trump. Chip, it's just Trump. That's all it is. It's opposition to Trump. They don't listen. They have the power to hold this up, and it doesn't matter if every case ends up being heard in the Supreme Court. Donald Trump already knows that he has legal standing, and I believe, in my view, I think that people are looking at this from where the media is reporting it versus what the White House counsel is doing. I truly believe this, that they are writing these executive orders people think that they're just writing them up one day and then all of a sudden they put them out and they say, hey, let's throw spaghetti up against the wall. I think that they know exactly what they're doing, and I believe they know a political strategy that's going to end up in the Supreme Court. They'll have all of those cases heard, and they'll be either overturned. I believe of all of them, we're looking at a 70-30 split in Trump's favor on any one of these challenges. But I got to go, Chip. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. We need to get our first check of our weather and traffic. Jason Caterina, of course, has your weather. And Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Welcome to your Monday. And, I don't know. Are you Irish at all, Mark Christopher?
3/4.
3/4?
Yeah.
3/4 Irish?
3/4 Irish, quarter Polish. Yeah.
Oh, a quarter Polish.
3/4 Irish.
How do you manage that?
O'Shea and McCarthy is the Irish blood.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think it's only right that we play it. For you. There's Mark the Shark Christopher with your BPS Traffic Service.
Well, thank you very much, Reese. Got my green bagel and my green beer and my corned beef and Cabbage, and we're ready to roll here. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, a little slow, 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Westbound 84, no problems. Vernon out into Farmington. Southbound 91 slowing 33 down to 32 A and B. Look out. See a couple of school buses on the right shoulder right at the exit 29A off-ramp that brings you down to the Whitehead-Collin Highway right at the Convention Center, so look out for that. Delays again. We've got some problems in Rocky Hill. 91 southbound between 23 and 22, an accident in the left lane. Delays are almost back to the Silas Dean Highway behind that. Traveling northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury just slightly slow. 84 westbound approaching the Mixmaster. 95 South New Haven slows from exit 44 down to 42 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, occasional rain and drizzle, breezy but mild, the high of 59. Clear and cooler tonight, the low dipping down to 36. Now sunny and pleasantly warm for us on Tuesday, and we'll ride that warming trend right into midweek, the high up to 63 on Tuesday. Clear and cool Tuesday night, the low down to 36. Sunny on Wednesday, mixing with some clouds at times. Warmer, though, the high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Police in New Haven say a child was killed Sunday night in an apparent accidental shooting. Just before 11 p.m., officers responded to an address in the city on a report of a person shot. When they arrived, they found the 8-year-old victim lying on the kitchen floor with a gunshot wound. The child was rushed to Yale New Haven Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The victim was with others in the home at the time, say police. Chief Carl Jacobson said the investigation is ongoing, adding that it is, quote, a tragic, preventable, and senseless death. Anyone who may have witnessed the shooting or has additional information is urged to contact New Haven police. The Trump administration says it did not violate court order when over 200 suspected gang members were deported to El Salvador over the weekend. Federal judge ordered the deportations to be halted temporarily. Former federal prosecutor and Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
It's somewhat of a risky strategy by President Trump, because even Chief Justice Roberts has said that court orders must be taken seriously and followed. But Trump keeps pushing.
ACLU attorney Lee Gallant on the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act.
The ACLU's Lee Gellert on the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act.
It's as unprecedented as it is lawless. The law is crystal clear that it can only be used in a declared war.
And it has only been used 3 times previous, the War of 1812 and the 2 World Wars. Now that a 32-year-old man is free after setting fire to his Waterbury home last month, where he allegedly had been held captive for the better part of 2 decades, investigators are left with the task of piecing together what happened. The boy was 11 when he was pulled out of school in Waterbury after the principal expressed concerns for his health. He says he called the State Department of Children and Families and Waterbury Police, the principal did, those agencies offering differing stories on how those reports were handled. Retired Connecticut State Police Lieutenant Paul Vance says witnesses are key in this case.
Classmates, and I'm going back a long time. We're going back 20 plus years. But there may be somebody out there, can live anywhere, that may have gone to that school and remember that young fella. That person also needs to come forward to help law enforcement try to piece this puzzle together. I can't explain how important that is in this type of investigation.
Victim's stepmother, 56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan, is charged with kidnapping and other crimes in the case. Kremlin is confirming President Trump and his Russian counterpart will be speaking tomorrow. Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Trump says Ukraine is on the agenda. At the White House, spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt didn't offer many details.
He will be speaking to President Putin tomorrow. I won't get ahead of those negotiations, but I can say we are on the 10th yard line of peace.
Although Senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy disagreed with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on last week's passage of a Republican budget bill, The two senators from Connecticut are still in Schumer's corner regarding leadership, but both say Democratic tactics have to change.
I'm going to be very vocally insistent on the need for a stronger voice and a more battle-ready stance for our entire caucus. And the issue goes beyond one person.
The two were in Bloomfield at Food Share today, one of the nonprofits recently on the chopping block when it comes to federal funding from President Trump and Elon Musk. Well, apparently Conan O'Brien made such an impression, they've asked him back to host the Academy Awards next year.
Conan O'Brien just hosted the Oscars earlier this month, promising to not waste time.
I won't waste time.
And the Film Academy isn't wasting time either, saying he'll be back to host again next year. In a statement, the comedian says, "The only reason is that I want to hear Adrian Brody finish his speech." This year was O'Brien's first time leading the show, which attracted its biggest broadcast audience in 5 years. Next year's Academy Awards are set for March 15th. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Closing Bell Report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Markets up this Monday. The Dow ahead 353 points. NASDAQ up 54, S&P up 36. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Action matters. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention anyone who used Depo-Provera or other prescription birth control shots. If you or a loved one used Depo-Provera and were later diagnosed with brain tumors or intracranial meningioma, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Text FEW to 323232 right now to see if you qualify. A new study has uncovered evidence linking Depo-Provera use to the development of brain tumors, and emerging lawsuits allege that manufacturers of Depo-Provera knew the risks for decades but failed to warn people of the potential harm. If you or a loved one used Depo-Provera or other prescription birth control shots and were later diagnosed with brain tumors or intracranial meningioma, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Text FEW to 323232. Don't wait. Time to file a claim is limited. Text the word FEW to 3232. If you or a loved one developed brain tumors after using Depo-Provera, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Text FEW to 323232. FEW to 323232.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Whenever we have a guest on, I think it's only important that we do stupidest thing first.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
When you have Democrats who are jumping ship from the party, calling themselves independents, people like Simone Sanders from MSNBC, Torre, not that these people are somewhat significant, but these people have been Democrats for all of their lives. But when you have that many people who are jumping ship, you know that the Democrats are desperate. They can't even keep their party in line, which is important to them. The other part is that they're stuck in an ideology that is going to destroy them even further. They cannot walk that line either. So what did Democrats decide to do after Chuck Schumer did not allow people in the government to be fired, which is in essence what Democrats were parading around Washington trying to protect government workers? They've decided they're going to shiv them and they're going to put somebody else in leadership. And their top candidate is none other than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It is the stupidest thing I've read because it's not just coming from Democrats, it's coming from the news media. They are egging this on. With every loss that they suffered in the 2024 election, knowing that going hardcore left ruined them, they're going to grab a former bartender from Queens who's so left, there is no left. I mean, literally, it's so far left it doesn't exist, as their new leader. They're never going to be in power for another 25 years. Forget 15. Read it yourself. It's at reasoontheradio.com. That's reasoontheradio.com. Now let's get another check of traffic and weather with Jason Catarinas and the aforementioned Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Well, 91 southbound coming into downtown Hartford, you're going to see some slow traffic from exit 33 down to 32 A and B. And then down in Rocky Hill, look for delays approaching exit 23. We have an accident between exit 23 and 22 on the southbound side of I-91. Left lane is blocked there. Stay right. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. 84 eastbound, a little slowdown in the tunnel. Westbound 84, no problems. Vernon out into Farmington. 291 through 84 moving well. 2 eastbound in good shape. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown, 9 in the Aragodi Bridge. Waterbury's looking good. 84 and 8. 95 south New Haven's a little slow from 44 down to exit 42 in West Haven. And we do have a road closure right now in Barkhamsted. Route 219 shut down between 318 and Rattlam Road because of a tree and wires down there. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through tonight, clear to partly cloudy and chilly, the low down to 34. Then nice as we make our way through the next couple of days. Lots of sunshine Tuesday, the high 62. Wednesday, sun mixing with some clouds. A warmer day, the high up to 66. Thursday, on the low clouds breaking for some sun, becoming breezy in the afternoon. We'll get a couple of showers moving through, the high 58. Couple of flurries on Friday morning, otherwise windy and cooler to round out the week, with the clouds giving way to some sun, the high of 47. Right now it's 50 in Danbury, also in Bridgeport, 49 in Bristol, and 50 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
The Connecticut Golf Show is March 21st through 23rd. For all the details, ctgolfshow.com.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Feel like everything's clouded by? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like the old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
I actually like that one. That's my favorite. All right, on the phone with us, State Senator Jason Perillo's on the line of Connecticut's 21st District, which includes Stafford, Seymour, Shelton, and Monroe. How are we doing, sir? Welcome to the show.
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm glad. I think of you, if you don't mind, I think of you as like if Lex Luthor had a happy twin brother. You've got a great smile. You're like much more pleasant. You know, you don't have like an evil.
I know where you're going with Lex Luthor, so I'll take that as a win. I appreciate it.
No, in a good way. You look like, I'm not going to lie, you look like a lawyer. I mean, you got the lawyer look down. Are you an attorney?
I am not.
Oh, okay.
I am not.
You look like you could be. Anyway, let's get to this because you have been quite vocal on this situation in Waterbury with the young man held in captivity. And I say young man, I'm 55. He was 32. He's 32 years old. Looks like he was held in captivity. It looks like this has gone on since he was about, 11 years old, if not younger. His dad just died last year. From reports that I'm seeing, and trust me, I'm inundated with this, Senator Perillo. I'm being inundated with information dealing with his family. I've got pictures of his sister, who, according to reports, seemed to know very well that this was happening at the home in Waterbury. And you are outraged at DCF for, I guess, their lack of reporting, their lack of any information, who did any follow-up. Tell us a little bit about what you've been very vocal about over the past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first question you have to ask is, how did this happen?
Right.
And we can go back in time and we can second guess. The reality is, though, we don't know what DCF knew, what DCF didn't know. I mean, we have reports of what they were told, but we certainly don't know what they did.
Right.
So fast forward 20 years to today, and the big question now is, what do we need to do to make sure this doesn't happen again? And at this stage in the game, that is in the hands of DCF. So the question is, what are they going to do now to investigate what happened and learn from it and ensure that this doesn't happen in the future? So the question is, can they do that?
Right.
Are they committed to that? And will this not fall through the cracks?
Do you think, I'll tell you, there's a lot of things about this. If I can with you, I want to go in the weeds about a lot of this that doesn't make sense on the side of Miss Sullivan, the defendant here, right, who's the alleged perpetrator here. There was a report, I think, in the Hartford Current over the weekend that suggested, I guess her lawyer in her statement said that this young man could have left at any time during the 20 years in this state, a state of captivity. I'm wondering if this, because you said there's a lot of questions, and I find these to be rhetorical at best, but there's something in this that makes no sense. And that is, one, we have a 68-pound, 32-year-old who has probably the worst dental health ever, body probably covered with sores and stench, having not bathed regularly. How could a person defend themselves saying they could have left at any time? And not once has there been any even suggestion that they tried to, one, get this person food, that they live in this house while he smelled in this way as his teeth rotted and his body became emaciated? Did anyone give this or deliver this child food? If they weren't there torturing him in the way they were, why has there been no discussion about what they did to, like, oh, you know, he wanted to be unbathed. He wanted to, like, not eat food. He wanted to defecate in his 8x9 cell. Like, none of that's been said. They're saying that he could have left at any time. Well, what did you do to assist him while he was there? Does that ever cross your mind in all of this?
Well, look, the idea that the gentleman could have left at any time, I mean, he had to practically burn the house down in order to get out.
Right.
So that kind of seems like laughable to me. And again, this is not funny. This is a terrible, terrible situation.
No, I mean, that's the point that I'm trying to make here, is that excuse is ridiculous, to say that he could have left at any time, but instead of leaving at any time, he had to burn the house down.
Exactly my point. And again, the question becomes, what did DCF do? Whether they did something wrong or their policies were wrong, we don't know. But again, we won't know until they ask the right questions, until they do an investigation. And I think the question we also have to ask ourselves at this point is, can they actually do an impartial investigation? We just don't know. And do they have the capacity to investigate this the way it ought to be investigated? This isn't a matter of going through paperwork, because by DCF's own admission, they don't have any paperwork.
Right.
It's not like this happened yesterday. This is 20 years ago.
Right.
Folks who may know about this case don't even work there anymore. So do we need an organization, an agency with greater investigatory capacity to actually lead this investigation? The answer right now is I don't know. But it's something we need to start thinking about. And honestly, it's something the governor ought to be thinking about as well.
Yeah, I think that's the important part. If you're just joining us, we're on the phone with Senator Jason Perillo. Senator, you're absolutely right about this, is the fact that there was no records kept on this individual. We are talking 20 years ago, but see, the difference here, and I think you agree with me in this regard, 20 years ago is still the computer age. So it wasn't like we're dealing with the DCF that everything was like, in other words, there was no shredding incident. I was like, oh, out with the old, in with the new. We're not shredding old documents. There should be a database available for this young man. And also with the fact that we know, we're not talking about a case of abuse that we have to mitigate whether or not it was verbal or physical, or whether or not it was the kid lashing or responding to a stern parent. We're talking about a school system that called DCF about a kid who was stealing food and eating from the garbage. This young man should have been treated with the highest priority in DCF.
Well, look, and that is one of the things that raises eyebrows here. It sounds like the school system did its job,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
They see a child who appears to need intervention, appears to need help, and they do what they're supposed to do. Is they call the people you're supposed to trust. They call the Department of Children and Families. What happened after that, we just don't know. In terms of the keeping of paperwork, seems a little odd. They wouldn't have it. But again, if that's an obstacle, it can't be an obstacle that can't be overcome in the course of an investigation. Because what happened 20 years ago is not the fault of the current commissioner. She wasn't the commissioner. But now the ball is in her court, in her agency's court, in the governor's agency's court, which is, okay, let's investigate, let's learn. And if they can't do that, we need to find an agency that can.
I agree with you there. And we asked on Friday's show, a couple of people called in who work either directly or indirectly with DCF. Some people have said that, look, that there's a tendency to look at stories like this, the Sullivan case. It's sort of like a marble in front of the sun is what the way I said it. It's like a marble in your face will block out the sun. Like that one incident will block out all the good work that they may be doing at DCF. But I still have a problem with that because the thing they keep saying is that DCF social workers are overwhelmed. And that to me brings a bigger problem. If we've got an overwhelmed DCF system, that means that there's a root cause to all of these children being in the hands or coming across the desks of DCF, which I love the fact that you brought it to the governor in saying, why isn't somebody figuring out why DCF is getting these many calls, and what do they root from? Are they drug abused parents? Is it abuse? Because maybe there's something else going on in the state of Connecticut that's leading to this DCF overwhelmed capacity as well as other things.
That's actually a really good point. When you think about it, DCF is in many ways sort of too late, right?
Yeah.
These situations shouldn't get to the point where a social worker from the state of Connecticut has to intervene. So that's spot on point by you. What else is going on? Are there trends?
Right.
What sort of statistics are looked at?
Right.
Is there something in our policy here in the state of Connecticut, policies regarding X, Y, or Z, that are leading to a critical mass of these cases? And is there something we can do to prevent them prior to them rising to the level of requiring state agency intervention?
And that's the point. I mentioned that Friday, is that, one of the big problems that we have with DCF, and I've seen this in a lot of states that I worked in where I've lived, is that there's never an accounting, Senator, of what DCF is overwhelmed with, right? Because if there's an alcohol problem, if there's an opioid problem, like, are a lot of these kids is there a gang affiliation problem? Those are the things that we need to focus on, because we can alleviate some of the pressure on DCF if we're dealing with it on the outside of there. And again, this is, as you just articulated, that last line of defense, which is DCF, clearly is saying to all of us that it can't handle the volume that's happening in the state. And this is a small state by comparison.
Right. And, once you get to the point where you're sort of, quote, in the system, it becomes that much harder to get out.
Right.
Right? Now you're in foster care. And of course, look, every situation is different. But once you've gone as a child, once you're in that system, it can be so much harder to get out.
Right.
So to your point, which is really important, what trends are there that we can avoid on the front end to keep kids out of the system? I mean, shouldn't that be the goal? Shouldn't that be the ideal where, in a perfect world, you wouldn't need DCF? That's
Right.
perfect. And you wouldn't need it. And we certainly do. But anything we can do to keep kids out of the system is important. So, what could DCF have done on the front end? And I don't know the answer to this, by the way.
Sure.
But what could they have done on the front end of this particular case that could have avoided where we are? That could have mitigated the risk? I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But again, those are the questions that need to be asked so that we can avoid these situations in the future.
Senator, what could we do right now? And I think we should really we should pull that thread, because I think this is very important. Is there a mechanism where we can have DCF come to Congress or anyone, or even report to the governor about what they are overwhelmed with? In essence, not just tell us, I don't want to know how many cases each social worker has. That's not relevant. But is there a way that we can demand DCF tell us what are the growing trends of children that they're seeing, whether or not it's alcoholism, whether or not it's drugs, whether or not it's abandonment, whether or not it's physical abuse, whether or not it's sexual abuse, where those trends are? Because then if we get to that point, then we can actually do the thing that DCF needs the most, because it's the number one excuse for them. We can alleviate them being overwhelmed if we have those numbers, and then we can address them independently. If we know that this is the overarching theme of cases that they're seeing, then we, as either legislators or as policy or even as thought leaders, they can get involved in addressing that in the street.
Well, and you kind of mentioned it before. We're no longer in the paper age.
Right.
Every interaction with a client at DCF is logged and tracked. Look, I've spent my entire professional career in healthcare, and we can tell you down to the diagnosis how many individuals who have been treated and what the percentages are. So I would have to imagine, to your point, that DCF ought to be able to give us that data and those statistics in a couple of hours.
Can we ask for that? Who do we need to, how could we go about getting DCF to give us those numbers, if not publicly, but to get them to you or to anybody, even to the governor, and let's have those numbers, hash them out, and so then we can actually start dealing with the issue? Or is there no real, vigor or an interest in doing that?
Well, there's clearly an interest now. So,
right.
It ought to be a simple ask, right?
Yeah.
By the legislature, I would imagine, the governor's office, if they haven't asked these questions already, I would recommend to them that they do.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the data is there. Getting it ought to be easy. And then from there, to your point, maybe it helps drive policy down the road to avoid these situations and to your point, lessen the load.
Right.
The fact that the agency is so overwhelmed by keeping kids out of the system.
Right.
That's the ideal.
Because I always look at it as you look at a problem, you say, what's your biggest complaint? I look at that as a threat, the assessment of any problem as a business owner. I go, where are you having the most trouble? Let's see if we can get that out of your way to make your job or your life easier, for that matter. And I think that makes sense. What, if I may, I don't want you to go without at least informing everyone, Senator, what are you trying to do, or what would you like to do other than spread the word about DCF coming to or at least demanding them for some answers? What would you like to get out there, or at least for people to recognize?
Well, the first thing we've done is raise awareness by talking with folks like you, making sure the public doesn't lose interest in this, because that becomes important. But then sort of, on the inside of things, I know that leaders in the Senate Republican caucus, at least, are working to get a meeting with the commissioner to get assurances that an investigation is going to happen. It's going to happen in a timely manner, and it's going to happen honestly and transparently.
Okay.
That's kind of step one. Now, I would expect that from that request we'll get cooperation, and of course, if we don't, then things turn in a different direction.
Yeah.
The legislature has the ability to hold hearings and hold people accountable. I don't want to go down that road. I would imagine that we don't need to, because I would imagine the agency, just as much as the legislature does, wants to figure out what happened. So I would expect full cooperation. I'd be very surprised and also disappointed if there's not.
Yeah. Senator Jason Perillo, thank you so much. I appreciate your time coming onto the program. We'll reach out to you and see where you get with this, like, let's say next month. Would that be okay?
You let me know.
You
I'll
got
be
it,
there.
sir. Thank you so much for coming on. Folks, let's get a check of our traffic and our weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing, sir?
Reese, pretty good right now. Thank you. If you're heading southbound 91, a little slow at 32A and B in Hartford, you'll see a little slow traffic again in Rocky Hill. Southbound 91, 24 to 23. That was kicked off from an earlier accident that is now clear. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up in Windsor. Westbound 84 a little slow coming through the tunnel out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound, no problems, Farmington to Vernon. 291 through 84 moving well. 2 eastbounds in good shape, Glastonbury into Marlboro, quiet Middletown. 84 westbound, Waterbury slowing, approaching the Mixmaster. South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HAYMOND and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Heyman is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HAYMOND.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, occasional rain and drizzle, breezy but mild, the high of 59. Clear and cooler tonight, the low dipping down to 36. Now sunny and pleasantly warm for us on Tuesday, and we'll ride that warming trend right into midweek, the high up to 63 on Tuesday. Clear and cool Tuesday night, the low down to 36. Sunny on Wednesday, mixing with some clouds at times. Warmer, though, the high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. New Haven police say an 8-year-old boy was killed in an apparent accidental shooting Sunday night. Officers were called little before 11 to an address on a report of a person having been shot. The victim was found on the kitchen floor of the residence, taken to Yale New Haven Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Persons recovering after they were struck by the driver of a vehicle Sunday in East Hartford. Police say the victim sustained significant injuries in the mishap at Burnside Avenue and Hillside Street. The driver did stay on scene. Waterbury police have released body cam footage of the night a 32-year-old man set fire to his and his stepmother's home last month. Man says he'd been held in the home since he was 11 years old, weighed only 68 pounds when he was rescued. Kimberly Sullivan facing charges in that case. Ceasefire in Russia's 3-year-old war in Ukraine hinges on Moscow accepting the U.S. proposal of a 30-day pause in the fighting as a confidence-building measure for both sides to hammer out a long-term peace plan. President Trump and his Russian counterpart are slated to talk about the war tomorrow. And residents and work crews down south and in the Midwest have been cleaning up and surveying the destruction from a series of storms that kicked up wildfires, tornadoes, and dust storms over the weekend. Severe weather that first developed Friday and barreled across 7 states left over 36 dead. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 353 points today. The Nasdaq gained 54, and the S&P was up 36 points. After a long road trip, the Knicks back home tonight to face the Heat. In the NHL, the Bruins host Buffalo. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768A, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Attention.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? You barely getting by making minimum payments. With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
By the way, if you're viewing the show on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, which I know a lot of you do, and I totally appreciate that, you're noticing that I'm wearing my Jets jersey and my Jet hat because they're green and it is St. Patrick's Day, which again, I'm very excited that it's St. Patrick's Day, and it's not just because I don't drink. Or, I don't drink, so it doesn't mean I can't celebrate because I don't drink. That's not the only thing about St. Patrick's Day is drinking green beer. It's got more to do with heritage. And I love it. I'm a big fan. And I think, to be honest with you, I think wearing my Jets jersey and my Jets hat is appropriate for St. Patrick's Day. You know, the whole luck of the Irish. You know what they say about the Irish, what they consider Irish luck? You know, it's like stepping in dog poo, but in your bad shoes. That's Irish luck. Who's more Irish than the New York Jets? They are horrible. You want to talk about Irish luck? 2 years ago, 5 minutes in, Hall of Fame quarterback gets behind center, 4 minutes in, and snaps an Achilles tendon. That's Irish for you. That is exactly. Well, I mean, the Jets represent the Irish perfectly. You would think that's why they chose the colors. I'm just saying. So I thought about it today, and I said, maybe I should put on the jersey today. It makes sense.
Justin Fields.
Hey, I don't know. We'll see. I think the kid's gotten better. He sucked the first year when he was with Chicago.
He was great last year for Pittsburgh. They were stupid for taking him out.
Listen, nobody was sicker than a dog than Chicago with the year he had with Pittsburgh last year. No one was sicker. Chicago was like, we let that guy go. It's like, well, you were supposed to have. And I didn't even understand why the Bears would let him go, because they wanted to win immediately, and it's been so long. And the fans will make that happen. They'll start screaming and hollering, and then they force people to dump the quarterback. Oh, you spent too much money on it. Get rid of him. And, of course, they adhere to them, and then the guy goes to Pittsburgh and has a great year. They went to the playoffs with Justin, didn't they?
No, they put Russell in for the last half of the season.
Oh, that was dumb.
Yeah, and then he didn't do nothing but lose the last 4 games.
Oh, Russell. Goodness gracious. And I thought Russell, what's so funny? When he went to Denver and I saw how bad he played there, I was just like, oh, Russell Wilson. That's awful.
He should have retired.
He should have. I mean, he's got the one Super Bowl win. And, what a dumb play throwing the ball in the last touch after coming back.
When you got beast mode, I'm running it 4 downs in a row from the 1.
Yes, exactly. It was just the dumbest move. But Marshawn Lynch said that the reason why he did that was because they wanted Russell to be the hero.
Yeah, they wanted him to be the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Who cares? Win the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Pete Carroll just let me down. But it doesn't matter. They've got one, and I think the Legion of Boom was the reason for that one, to be honest with you. I like Russell. I wanted him to come to the Jets. But after going to Denver, I'm really glad he did. So that's why I'm wearing the Jets jersey. The luck of the Irish, the Jets epitome of that. Let's get a check of the weather with Jason Catarinas, but Mark Christopher has got your ride home in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, just a little slow at 38. Again, some slow traffic as you move between 24 and 23 in Rocky Hill from an earlier accident. Northbound 91 moving very well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 a little slow coming out of the tunnel out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, no issues. Farmington and Vernon. 291 through 84, okay. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro. If you're heading into Middletown, a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 Waterbury, slight slowdown at the Mixmaster. And 95 southbound losing a little speed by exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear to partly cloudy, chilly tonight, the low down to 34. Warm the next couple of days, lots of sunshine Tuesday, the high 62. Wednesday, sun mixing with some clouds, the high 66. The low clouds will break for some sun Thursday. We'll also have a couple of showers in the afternoon, the high 58. Then cooler on Friday, the high of 47. Currently, it is 50 in Danbury, 54 in New London, 51 in Mansfield, and 50 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website.
Hold on a minute.
Safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. Free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me get to these phones real quick, and then I want to tell you what my weekend was like. I should save it until 5, but I got other stuff that I would need to get into. So let's get into the calls real quick. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. How are you, Sean?
Good. I hear that you're part of that new Black Irish.
That's right, exactly. I'm Reese I'm Reese O Radio from the O Jackson clan.
Yeah, well, my name is Sean. My first name is Sean, and my middle name is Anthony. And so when people hear Sean Anthony and then they see me and I'm black, they go, "You're Sean Anthony?" I'm like, "Yeah." It throws them. But I don't know the details of the case that you guys were talking about with the senator.
Yes, that is the young man, the one that's pretty much gone national now, about the 32-year-old was found locked in the house for 20 years by his stepmother.
All right. Okay, now I know what you're referring to. But I worked for Family Preservation. Okay. And we were subcontracted through DCL.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually started the program in '89.
Oh, wow.
And the program was started and is still in existence. And the goal was to help prevent unnecessary out-of-home placement.
Okay, so you were sort of the intermediary of DCF. So in essence, to keep them out of the DCF system.
Right. I was a social worker hired by the social worker.
Gotcha.
So, like, I would spend like 30 hours with them in a week, and the DCF worker would spend like whatever their short time because they knew we were in there.
Gotcha.
So that's what we did, and we reported to DCF and had to report progress or challenges to DCF on a regular basis, and all reports had to be written.
Well, let me ask you
And
this
that was
though:
at
does that
8-9.
so? Okay, I'm assuming that the reason why this group would have been established is almost, and pardon me if I'm using a draconian term, but where you would be considered a farm out. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
A subcontractor, exactly.
Okay. So you would have to go through the same rigor of that home visit that DCF would. You're just a farm out version
Exactly.
of that. Okay.
Exactly, but we would be required to turn a family around in 3 months.
Oh wow!
And it could have been like one family I worked with. I'll never forget this family. It was a 4-generation family of welfare. Okay, and I worked with each one. Now one kid was my client.
Okay.
But the whole family ended up being my client.
Right.
And
it's almost
individual home.
It's only because because you're dealing with the child, you almost have to take on the family as well.
The system, the whole system, exactly.
Right.
And we brought counseling services, domestic violence, whatever the issue was, we brought those services to them, and what they had to go out like to be like for counseling or whatever, we set that up and we actually transported them.
Wow.
So we had to log mileage, we had to log time, we had to call in, we had to call out. I mean,
Sean,
it was extensive.
Sean, let me ask you, how long did you work in the capacity or in this capacity for that company?
It was family preservation. I did it for 21 years.
Okay, wow. Okay, so fine. You might be a person that I can sort of ask after having done it that long. I was asking the Senator Jason Perillo that we should find out what are the circumstances that DCF is dealing with inside all of these cases that come across their desk, and what are the overwhelming causes of DCF interaction? Is it drugs? Is it violence? Is it abuse and neglect? What are in your 21 years? What did you see? I'm only using you as an example, but what will you say the root causes of some of your home visits or the clients you had to serve?
Well, number one, I think it started with the poverty mentality.
Okay.
Okay. And they thought I was poor. I'm always going to be poor. Yada yada yada. One of the things that Bill Clinton did that was fantastic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big Bill Clinton fan.
Okay.
Was he did a welfare to work program,
right,
in which he gave incentives for people to get the training, and he helped pay for daycare, transportation. You could save money, you could get a car, and you still didn't lose your benefits.
Right.
If you did that and you could document that. So a good chunk of what we saw, because we dealt with families that had like a 96-hour hold, which means within 96 hours, they were going to remove the children if we didn't immediately bring in resources to mitigate the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So domestic violence was a huge one.
Okay.
Drugs was absolutely huge. And then there was an incentive for the guys to technically not be around, even though they were around.
Okay. All right. So we're looking, in essence, we're looking at what the welfare system sort of exacerbated. Fathers not in the home, drug use, layabout sort of deal. And domestic, when you say domestic violence, now we don't have the fathers in the home. Are you mean domestic, meaning parents hitting children or children lashing out?
I'll give you an example. Right off Albany Avenue, I was at a family. She was pregnant with a child, and she had another child. The husband actually went out, got drunk, showed back up at the house, and was going to beat the child out of her because he no longer wanted the baby.
Oh, wow.
And I stood with one other therapist between him and her, and we were trained by police officers and martial artists how to defend ourselves, should we need to not have that happen until the police got there.
Holy moly. So
Go ahead.
No, it sounds like, okay, so those are what you're saying, that 3 of the, say, the overwhelming issues that you dealt with for this. And again, I just want to make sure I get them right. Domestic violence, you said absentee fathers, and you said drug use, right?
Correct. Yes. And the other thing was a lot of illiteracy where they came from another country. They could speak that language, and they didn't get the training or the interpreters to then understand, like a teacher sends a note home, but they only speak Spanish or they only speak Portuguese, and then the note goes home, but then they wonder why Johnny didn't do what they asked Johnny to do. It's because mom or dad could not read that language.
Yeah. Sean, go ahead. I'm sorry. Last thing. Go ahead.
Last thing. It was, I checked, DCF checked my stats for me a year after I was gone. A year after I was gone from working with a family, 85% of my families had no further abuse or neglect. And that was because of the Family Preservation Program.
Wow.
And it's still in existence now, but they changed it where I guess they do less.
Gotcha. Yeah, they're less involved. And that's probably for a lot of reasons. Probably because there's probably not a lot of oversight on DCF because, again, they're probably so overwhelmed. How do they, if they can't manage what's in?
Quick correction, and then I'll end this. I think what the goal here is to get more federal dollars. They can manage, but if services are people going untreated, quote unquote, then you'll get more federal dollars to then hire more people, but then you're going to hire more DCF workers who then can work like light shifts. But if you hired more subcontractors, you'd actually get more done. Because I was there, I was on call 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, unless I was on vacation.
Was it a paid gig, Sean? Was it? I mean, would you get a salary there?
I was on salary, so if I worked 7 days, I still got paid a certain fee.
Wow.
I didn't get paid by the hour.
Okay.
So I got good at managing and helping them understand, you could have a weekend too, because I want a weekend.
Thank you.
And they figured out, oh yeah, we can be somewhat, and I don't like the word, more normal.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Everybody else.
I like the word mainstream. You can be more mainstream. I totally get that. That makes sense. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. How we doing, Adam?
Good morning, Reese. Good afternoon. I got to crack a joke with you. Your sense of humor and your wit. I have a little bit of health issues where I can't concentrate on what I used to. And I used to work for a water company and get a whole boatload of samples every day. But I had some health issues and memory lapses and had to leave in December. But yeah, I know it's awful. But don't get old. I just turned 61. But so what I was going to drive at though, you've got a good wit, and to come up with that, Reese. And then,
Reese. Reese On Radio. I've been doing this role way too long. And, John Beckman, who's, probably been one of my good friends for the past 4 or 5 years, when I play that Irish jig, he's not even Irish, but he loves it because he knows that anytime I play it, I'm going to dance around. I love the Irish. I love the Irish. I guess growing up, I knew a lot of Irish people in my old Queens neighborhood. And as much as I like it, it's so weird. I know I'm gonna get hell for this, but I grew up around Irish and Italian kids growing up, and I just loved anybody who wasn't from my neighborhood. So if their parents had a thick accent, if they were Russian, Italian, Irish, Czechoslovakian or former Czechoslovakian, those people I gravitated to because they didn't sound like everybody else from my neighborhood. And I was a little envious of them that they could talk with those accents. So I gravitated to them. And Irish, I had more Irish people living in my neighborhood. My third wife, by the way, is an Irish woman. Her what's the name? Her maiden name is Pennington. And she's a big Irish girl. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'll get to my topic in a second, but
yeah, real quick.
Have a good sense and down to earth, but she's going down. The sister that was in that house and didn't report that. Listen to Paul Vance. If she was locking the door and crap like that, I'm
gonna talk about that in the next hour because I mentioned it on my Sunday show. There are a lot of questions, rhetorical ones at best, that don't make sense in all of this, and it goes to because with this lawyer saying that there was no that the young man had the opportunity to leave at any time, it brings a lot of questions to bear that I know no one is thinking about. And someone sent me an email that just added on to it. In fact, there's an article in the Hartford Courant that asked about it too. And I thought it was a great question, and I was a little jealous that I hadn't thought of it. Think about this, Adam. Do you know they found the young man's biological mother, and she's alive?
Wow.
Yeah. So if there's any rhetorical question, and I say rhetorical question, it's as simple as this. Where was she? She lives in the state. She lives right here. The father died last year in January. He's been dead for just over a year. But his biological mother, she wanted nothing. She had nothing to say to the Hartford Courant or any other media outlets when they found her. So the question asked, we're talking about her own flesh and blood. She never even sought out to find out how he was doing. So there's a lot of people here who neglected him. A lot. So I'm going to ask that in the next hour. And, of course, I'll talk about how my weekend ended today. All right, so stick around for that. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, sir. You got it. Again, like your own kid, whether he lives down the road or he lives a couple of miles away. Yeah, they said the mother was MIA since the kid was around 2. How did they find her? They found her. Easy pickings. How'd they find her? So, I don't know. I've got a lot of questions, but stick around. We'll get into that. My weekend, let me say this. I'll give you a little preview. It was absolutely agonizing to not go into the U-Haul office today. Somebody else is running it. They called me a couple of times because they needed to understand some things. And, I was kind of doing some rudimentary training on how to do that. But it's not my baby anymore. I didn't have to deal with that. But I felt it. There was a lot of me that just had too much time on my hands, just too idle. And I cleaned. I dusted. I wiped things down. I did everything I could. I did everything that I could to make sure that I was busy, that I wasn't thinking about going into the office, even to go help out for no pay. I tried to stay focused. The wife left me at home by myself, and she went to the farmer's market. She didn't even make me go. Can you believe that? I didn't even have to go to a farmer's market, which, by the way, I hate. Nothing against them. I don't like, there's nothing there for me. So I'm meandering around looking at fruits and vegetables and plants. It's not me. But she didn't make me go. She went with her girlfriend and her friends, and she was gone for hours. She left at like 10:30. She didn't get back home until 6. I had the whole house to myself. And I couldn't get through it. It was impossible. I was forcing myself to get through it. I tried to watch some television. Everything was boring. I tried to watch some news. It is news I had already covered. I couldn't do it. So I started cleaning. And I cleaned. I cleaned so much, the place is spotless. Oh, I hung a wall mount, something I'm scared to death to do because I don't like drilling holes in walls. But I had a stud finder. I found a stud. I put a wall mount in my office with the TV so I can watch TV. Like we do in the studio, Roland, with the TV sitting up on the high perch so I can look up at it. I hung up all my baseball caps. I found out that I now have 40 of them. Way too many baseball caps. I put up my DJ equipment. I even DJ'd for 15 minutes. What am I going to do tomorrow? Nothing. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. So imagine my surprise when I wake up this morning to go take a walk with my wife to do our daily routine. And I get back. Oh, by the way, she made me keep my phone at home. And I come back and I find out that the U-Haul store was robbed at 3 a.m. in the morning. They took everything. They took trucks. They took refrigerators. They took tablets. The place was robbed. I haven't been gone 72 hours and the whole damn place was robbed. We'll talk about it. Stick around. Even when I try to leave. Let's get another check of the weather with Jason Catarinas. But first, Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. I got robbed. I didn't even get robbed. It's not even my place anymore, but I'm gone 3 days, Mark Christopher, and they robbed the place. They
3 days?
3 days.
Serious?
I'm off the job. They stole 3 U-Haul trucks. They took
my
the
God.
big 26-foot truck. We caught it all on camera at 3 o'clock in the morning. They
my
drove
God.
him right off the lot. Drove him
It's
right off.
insane.
Yeah.
3 days.
3 days I'm off. I retire 3 days, and the place that I give the place gets robbed. I feel like a horrible person now.
Oh my God.
It's that bad. I mean, they're gonna
Kinda
get
world.
trucks back. Yeah, it's all insured. At least it's insured. But
Yeah, thank goodness.
But it sucks. It just
I
sucks.
know. Sucks with a new owner, that's for sure.
Indeed.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, on the westbound side of 84, look for a little delay now as you come off the Bulky Bridge out to 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound, easy ride Farmington to Vernon. 91 southbound, just losing a little speed as you move down by exit 23 West Street and Rocky Hill. Northbound 91, okay, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84, okay, to the river, 2 eastbound, moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. No issues, Waterbury 84 and 8, and a smooth ride toward New Haven on 91 and the Parkway. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
The W.I. Clark Company, now 100 years strong. Find us at WIClark.com. 100 years ago, W.I. Clark started out with a mission: sell superior construction equipment backed by quality parts and service. Today, we represent brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy. The W.I. Clark Company. Find us at WIClark.com.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, occasional rain and drizzle, breezy but mild, the high of 59. Clear and cooler tonight, the low dipping down to 36. Now sunny and pleasantly warm for us on Tuesday, and we'll ride that warming trend right into midweek, the high up to 63 on Tuesday. Clear and cool Tuesday night, the low down to 36. Sunny on Wednesday, mixing with some clouds at times. Warmer, though, the high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 48 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Police in New Haven continue their investigation into the accidental shooting of an 8-year-old boy last night. They got the call of the shooting just before 11 to an address in the city. When they arrived, they found the child lying on the kitchen floor of that home. Several others were in the house at the time, they say. The victim was rushed to Yale New Haven Hospital and later pronounced dead. NHPD major crimes detectives are working to sort out the circumstances that led to the shooting. Witnesses or others who may have information are being urged to contact New Haven police. Investigators continue to dig into questions surrounding the 32-year-old man rescued last month from a burning home in Waterbury, where his stepmother allegedly held him captive for over 2 decades. One aspect of the case concerns who knew what and how any reports were handled. The principal of the former Waterbury school the boy attended claims he reported his concerns to DCF, which says it has no record and that records of unsubstantiated cases can be expunged after 5 years. Retired State Police Lieutenant Paul Vance says the police records may be the most reliable at this point.
As far as police reports are concerned, if there is any criminal investigation, they're held for, I will almost say forever, but the amount of time that they're maintained is, if someone's incarcerated, you need to maintain those records just in case there's an appeal or if anything legal having to do with any case, if you will, is criminally investigated.
56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan is free on $300,000 bond as she faces charges of cruelty to persons and other offenses. Her attorney claims that she is innocent and they will fight those charges. The Trump administration is heading to federal court to defend the president's use of a 227-year-old war act to deport migrants the White House says are members of a Venezuelan drug gang.
A federal judge is holding a hearing to determine whether the Trump administration violated his order to stop a flight deporting 261 migrants to El Salvador, some with alleged gang ties.
We tend to be in court a lot. It's what they like to do. These rogue judges have to stop. This is an executive
decision, and we are trying to make America safe again.
President Trump carried out most of those deportations under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
CBS's Erica Brown. The president says there is a path to peace in the Russia-Ukraine war. It's up to Moscow to accept a 30-day record between the U.S. and Ukraine to plant the seeds for lasting peace.
How we doing?
Show the mic.
And it's a bad situation. Yeah, token white guy in the building.
What's happening in Ukraine is not good, but we're going to see if we can work a peace agreement, a ceasefire and peace, and I think we'll be able to do it. I'm speaking to President Putin tomorrow morning.
Trump says that land and power plants are part of the conversation to bring the war to a close. Connecticut Senators Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal say they still support New York's Chuck Schumer as Senate Democratic leader. Schumer, of course, under fire from many within his own party for voting with Republicans on a budget bill last Friday. Murphy and Blumenthal voted against that plan, and Murphy today said a strategic change is needed.
You know, I said yesterday and say today I continue to support Senator Schumer, but I want to see our tactics change. I want to see us fight harder. I want to see us take real risks to fight for our democracy.
Murphy and Blumenthal spoke at Connecticut Food Share headquarters in Bloomfield, which lost $1 million in federal funding and cuts from President Trump and Elon Musk last week. Let the madness begin. The NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament's about to get underway. It's been a challenging season for the two-time defending national champion UConn men, who, despite a 23-10 record, had their share of ups and downs during the regular season. Coach Dan Hurley.
If we play defense, 75% field goal percentage defense in the first half of any NCAA tournament game, it's going to be ugly. So, we've got to be better in areas that we haven't been good this year.
For the women, Gino Auriemma's crew notched another 30-win season. He was asked about the dearth of Big East teams in the tournament this year.
Maybe we don't get the respect we deserve. I don't know. Once again, if you can go 4-12 in your league, and you can still make the NCAA tournament and get an 8 seed, then what's that say about? Does it matter what you're doing in the regular season?
UConn men open the tournament seeded 8th and will take on 9th-seeded Oklahoma in the West Region on Friday. The women host number 15 Arkansas in the Spokane Region opener at Stores on Saturday. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss. It is now week 5. He just got done checking in with his coach. Let's see where we are. Phil.
Today was the weigh-in time. I'm down 30 pounds since 5 weeks ago today.
Here we go. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk
1 minute.
Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Northeast Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your love life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I just want to give you guys a heads up. Tomorrow afternoon's monologue is going to be a follow-up to the story that we have been covering here about Hartford schools. So prepare for that. I'm doing my best to get a follow-up. Tomorrow is supposed to be that crucial Board of Education town hall or meeting, whatever that is. It's supposed to happen. There may be some developments in that. The question is whether or not what I'll be able to inform you of, because I have to get more details. And I'm working hard for that. This story's not over, not by a mile. This story isn't over. But there may be efforts to end it, to put a butt on it. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that never happens. So I'll have a monologue about that, and the details of that I'll get to tomorrow. So stay tuned for that at about 3:06, 3:07 in a day. We've got Joey in the house. What's up? How you doing, homie?
We're good.
I haven't talked to you here in a while, but so I'm pretty sure that you're aware of this and what's been going on with St. Patrick's Day. But
Kidding me? I got corned beef at home waiting for me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Now, your last name gives the impression that you may be, I don't know, from like Louisiana or French
Canadian. So
you
yeah, you
are
can take that. I'll take that one.
You're French Canadian. Okay,
Yes.
I knew that because I hear that name and I immediately go, that sounds very French to me. But French Canadian. Now you're talking like your folks, like French Canadian, like generations.
My generation's the first. So like me and my cousins, the first generation born in the United States.
Okay. So just so I make sure that I get this out there. So not a lick of Irish in you.
Nah.
At
I'll
all.
celebrate any holiday that has good food.
That's what I thought. I was about to say that. I was like, are you like me? It just doesn't matter. As long as it's got good food, you're gonna participate.
I'm there for it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I will lie about my last name. I will be Reese O. Jackson or whatever it is that they're, we saw a float at a parade with
Like,
just.
what is Mark the Shark? But I'm sure he's going to
Oh,
celebrate.
no, he's 3/4 Irish.
Yeah,
and
but the
how
shark,
could he
I
not
don't
be?
know.
Yeah, but maybe not the shark. But you know how you know Mark Christopher is
It's
Irish?
Mark O'Sharky.
First of all, Mark is incredibly pale. He's like Bill Clinton pale. So I knew he was
Right.
Irish from the get-go. Mark Christopher's in the
thank
BPS
you.
Traffic Center.
Let me just say this about that. I did not have relations with that woman. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now,
You're clear.
He's a good one.
we got some delays on Bulkley Bridge up to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound moving well. Farmington out into Vernon. Southbound 91's a little slow at 32A and B. You're going to slow again between exit 24 and 23.
The corned beef's been in the oven since 6 this morning.
The guardrail repair in the left lane just after exit 23 in the left lane. Once again, stay to the right there. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown. 291 through 84. Okay, east of the river.
I was trying to let us drink Guinness at work today, but didn't fly.
Is okay, 84 and 8. 91 in the Parkway moving very well, heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight with the low down to 34. Then as we make our way through the day on Tuesday, warm with plenty of sunshine, the high up to 62. For Wednesday, sun mixing with some clouds, another warm day, the high of 66. Then Thursday, the low clouds break through some sun, breezy in the afternoon with a couple of showers, the high of 58. Currently, it's 47 in Bristol, it's 52 in New Haven, Bridgeport at 50 and 48 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Concerned about your gums? Columbia Dental's expert periodontists specialize in treating all gum conditions, helping you achieve a healthy, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Don't wait for a breakdown to start thinking about your HVAC system. For a limited time, call the Bee and get your heating or cooling tune-up for as low as $99. A professional HVAC tune-up keeps your system running efficiently, helps prevent costly repairs, and ensures you stay covered under your manufacturer warranty. Visit callthebee.com. That's call, the letter B.com, to schedule a tune-up for as low as $99. Call the Bee, Connecticut plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. Call the Bee. We'll be there and we'll be fair.
Prescriptions require an online
online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
1 minute.
Millions of men
Got it.
experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your
Here we go.
visit.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Everybody's talking about being pregnant. Goodness gracious. Everybody's having babies. Congratulations.
Not it.
No. Kaylee McEnany has announced that she's on her third child. How many do you have, Joe? What do you?
3 also.
You got 3. Oh, wow. Youngest one being what, like 7, 8?
The youngest is 13. The twins are 16.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, they'll be out of the house soon.
God, I will.
Let me tell you something. Did you? You weren't here for this. I don't even heard about this, but I'm talking about how angry I am. So we've been trying to get the boy we were trying to get him into West Point.
Okay.
But we knew his grades were not really up to par.
Mhm.
And that's because, he's a teenager. It's his senior year. He's dragging us behind.
Yeah.
Exactly. But West Point was not going to be for him. But he wasn't even applying to anything.
Okay.
Right? So his girlfriend at the time was applying to everywhere, and she got like six acceptance letters.
Awesome for her.
Yeah, which we thought were great. And we thought, that's weird. Your girlfriend gets 6 acceptance letters, and you haven't even applied to any.
Yeah, you could have copied off one.
Exactly.
Of them, for Christ's sakes.
Well, we were happy that he did on one level because, unfortunately, a lot of them were HBCUs, and they weren't all that great. We looked at the list of the schools that she got into. They weren't ranking like in the 30s.
Okay.
As well. So it didn't matter, but she was applying, and she was getting into all the ones that she applied for. Anyway, moving on. So the boy doesn't apply to anywhere, and then finally, and I get on his case, and I said, listen, enough is enough. Apply to a college. I don't care which one it is. I don't even care whether or not you can get in. Just apply. Put some effort. We're in January. Stop fooling around and get an application out. This is something you should have been thinking about in junior year, but we're here now. Get on it.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I get a phone call 2 weeks later. Hey, what's up? I'm like, what's going on? I got into the Citadel. I'm like, without even trying? So I'm furious. But of course, at the same time, I'm going, holy moly. So I immediately start looking up. I'm like, the kid gets into a Citadel. Of course, it's one of the top colleges, especially military schools. Beauty is that at least the Citadel, unlike West Point, if you graduate, you don't have to go into the military, even though the boy wants to go. But the Citadel is in the top 25. Great. Fantastic. Overjoyed. Now, the only thing that's on my mind is which bumper sticker am I going to get to put on my car that says my kid goes to Citadel?
True.
That's what it's all about. I don't care what anybody says. All right? I don't care what he does. I'm living vicariously to him, and I'm making that point.
Yep.
Anyway, then a week later, his mother, furious. And I'm like, what's going on? She goes, the boy's going to take a year off. And at this point, I'm going, I will choke him. I'll find him. He's not even my child. And I want to choke him. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not going into the Citadel. What do you mean you're going to take a year off? Now, deep down, I have to be honest with you. The only reason why I was outraged is because now I can't put the bumper sticker on, at least for another year.
Man, I know.
So, and I had 2 planned. And I was
literally,
I was about to press order on the Amazon. But anyway, so didn't happen. So I'm ticked off. So wait a minute. So I figure, okay, what's the plan? So I hear in the peripheral, he's going to travel for a year off. And I go, in my head, I'm going, okay, I mean, I guess that's cool if you get a year off. Then he can go into the Citadel. Let's see if he can get a deferment. We didn't think he would get one, but sure enough, they allowed him. Oh, wow. Couldn't the luck this kid gets. He not only gets into the Citadel, he gets a deferment. So I'm like, okay, fine. You got a deferment. Where are you going? Like, what's the plan? He goes, I was thinking, I would travel for a year. Now, my first instinct is because I'm in my 50s, I'm thinking, oh, that would be cool backpacking through Europe. No, that's not his plan. That's not his plan at all, Joey. Do you want to know what his plan is? Here's his plan. And again, this is making me angrier by the minute as I talk about it. He says, and I quote, I was thinking maybe I'd DoorDash and travel the country. Where would he travel? Try this on for size. Perhaps Chicago and Denver. And I'm like,
what John Hughes film fantasy life is he trying to live?
I literally, at this point, I'm booking flights to D.C. so I can choke him to death. I'm like, are you kidding me? Cancel the Citadel order. Buy me a plane ticket. I'm furious. Well, yesterday we had an all-out blowout on the phone, screaming. His mother lost it on him because she didn't want him to be she didn't want him to be upset and thinking that she was a bad mom because she was disappointed in his choices. But I looked at her and I said, I don't know about you, but you better make him convince you that this is a good idea. Plus, he's got a girlfriend. And that's what we really know the motivation is. He's got a girlfriend, and, we're presuming that, that may be happening. I'm not going to say anything, but you know what I mean, right? So he's got a new girlfriend, and, they're really, really, it's a lot of puppy love. And I'm thinking that he's probably doesn't want to leave her and go off to South Carolina and be that far away from her. And that's why he wants to take this whole deferment, which means next year he's probably not even going to go to school anyway. And what we're concerned about is you take that year off, you party and you have a good time with your girlfriend. Next thing you know, everybody's talking about, hey, you're a grandparent now.
Yeah.
That's all.
There goes your bumper sticker.
Ugh. Yeah, exactly.
You have to get a whole different bumper sticker now.
Yeah, that was a good callback there, Joey. Thank you. Comic genius right there. I'm furious about that. Again, this is not even my kid, and I'm ticked. I have no idea. I'm sweating. I'm so angry because I kind of feel like in the 4 years that his mother and I have been together, I kind of feel like I had an influence on him. But now he's just going to give it up. He says, I promise you I'm going to go next year. I promise you I'm going to next year. So we swore him to it. He's got to go. Doesn't matter what happens. I don't care what happens. He's got to go. He has to go no matter what. Now, so I know that you said your twins are 16.
Yep.
When did they graduate? This year?
They're both juniors, so next year.
Next year.
Yep. I was talking with one of them today like that, what he wants to do. He has no idea. The other one's going to trade school. He's in carpentry. He's actually at work right now.
Okay,
so.
Well, that's good because
he's good.
Okay, he's good. But the other one,
no idea.
Listen to me. Whatever you do, I'm telling you, find a way. See if the police department will sell you one of those ankle bracelets. See if you can get one.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that was the thing. Like we told them, if you're not going into something right out of high school, then you're going to go to the local community. You're going to go up the street to Tunxus.
Right.
Take those gen ed classes.
Right.
They're cheap. They can get them out of the way and figure it out from there. But you're not just going to graduate and stay home and do nothing. It's not going to happen under my roof.
So he's got to go to school.
He's got to continue or he's got to do something.
Okay.
We even gave him the military option. Like, bro, go. Like,
Okay.
Figure it out. But
yeah.
no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. And his whole thing is like, I've gone to school all my life. I'm like, yeah sorry, buddy, that's the plan.
Life.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I tell the kids, I was like, I have to cook dinner for you every night. You think I'm enjoying that?
Oh, yeah.
That's the most, no one tells you that when you're a kid. You have to figure out what you're going to eat every day of the life.
He's driving me through the roof. I'm so glad. Like, if it had been my teenagers, I went through that. It was enough. It was enough, but to have to go through it this time, I totally get where my wife's going, and she's furious. I mean, I've never seen her more angry. And she's screaming at him, just like, I put in all of this work. I read to you. You were reading at 3. I put all of this work, and now you're not going to college. And I'm like, I'm literally closing my door, but in the background, I'm just like, yes, give it to him. Scream, holler.
She's going to have that boy doing PT every morning at 4:30 in the morning.
Exactly. Ugh. And I only bring it up because I just, there's this part of me that just says, you got into the Citadel. Oh, and both of his parents, I didn't even mention the greatest part about it. Try this on for size. Both of his parents are former military, which means at the Citadel, it's a free ride.
Yep, that GI Bill.
It's a free
Take advantage of
ride. You're getting into one of the top tier schools in the country in South Carolina, in Tom Cotton's district, and you got a free ride, and you're not going to go? How do you not go? Like you go just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, it's been driving me nuts like for days now. And again, I've got no skin in the game other than my bumper sticker. That's it. That's all I care about. That's all I care about.
So we'll have to see if someone's got to have like, parent of a student at just a blank line. You can like draw it in with a dry erase marker.
You know what? I'm going to make my own bumper sticker. I'm just going to say parent of a child who might go to the Citadel. That's what my bumper sticker will read. It should say, my kid might go there. You know what? We should get one for everybody. My kid might get into Harvard.
Exactly. We could make a killing.
Oh, totally a cottage industry.
It is.
Okay, let me get. I got to get to a phone. 860-522 WTIC. Dave is in Brantford. Hey, Dave.
Whoa, that was a fast Nicole pickup. I want to give props to St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
We were having our celebration dinner Saturday night in honor of UConn winning the Big East tournament, but of course it didn't work out.
Nice.
But we weren't going to cancel the feast. And the point I want to make is, of all the ethnic holidays, the one you eat the cheapest and the biggest for is St. Patrick's Day. We bought 12 pounds of corned beef at $1.79 a pound.
No kidding.
And it was so good, I went bought another dozen pounds, to put it away in the freezer.
Yeah.
The cabbage, they're practically giving it away at 59 to 79 a pound. And the carrots, we got at Aldi's for 99 cents a bunch. And the baked potatoes, we boiled the potatoes. They're practically giving away potatoes. We ate like pigs Saturday, Sunday, and I'm eating it again tonight. Corned beef and cabbage. Many people don't like it, but we love it because we don't have it all that often. And
Dave, I'm a big corned beef fan, but I have to admit the cabbage has been it's been difficult for me to enjoy. And I've had corned beef and cabbage, but the cabbage thing, it's a rough one. It's like tart lettuce. I just can't get past it. I can't. I don't know why.
A little lighter note for today's call. Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
letting me
You
on.
got it, man. I
Bye.
appreciate you. Ralph is in South Carolina. And Ralph, I'm assuming you're Irish, right?
Fabiano?
Oh, no, you're Italian. That's not definitely not. I apologize. Hey.
Not a problem. But
forgive me, sir.
Everybody's Irish today.
Without a doubt. What do you got for me, sir?
First of all, is that your stepson going
my
to the Citadel?
stepson, yes.
Go. Tell him to go because you take that year off, you may not get back, and getting into the Citadel, that's a very prestigious school. You know that.
Indeed. Trust me, like I said, when he called me and told me he got into the Citadel, I was overwhelmed like he was my own son. I was what a great honor to get into that school. And I was going to live vicariously through him, whether he liked it or not. But I was really excited,
So you were just talking to your other
Joey.
Joe.
Yeah.
As far as his son's going to be a carpenter, tell him go for it. And I'll tell you why. I served an apprenticeship as a toolmaker.
Oh, okay.
And I know a lot of people who served apprenticeships. They are now our ages, but they were tradesmen. And let me tell you, Reese, do you know how many of those people start their own businesses and are extremely successful?
Yeah.
Carpentry today is phenomenal. Electricians, HVAC. I mean, these people are making tons of money, starting their own businesses, and very successful people. You don't need any college degree for that.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
None
As I was saying the story last week about that the trade schools, the public trade schools in Hartford. Overwhelmingly, their statistics say some 85 to 90% of the kids who graduate from that school start their own businesses. They go from apprenticeships to starting their own business. It is, and a lot of that is recession proof. Believe it or not, it's an amazing career.
The real reason I called Reese is how can a district judge who is appointed overrule the president of the United States?
No, he's not. Listen, I promise you, Ralph, give it a couple of days. This will not stand. I know that people are outraged by it, but that's the whole idea. The idea is to give the Democrats some hope by saying, see, we can stop it. They're trying to salvage anything they can. But this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my lifetime. is that this district judge would say, I'm not going to get rid of a terrorist gang like Tren de Aragua. I'm going to thwart the president of the United States by getting these violent felons or violent people out of the country. It's ridiculous. And I can't believe he signed his name to it.
So the thing, too, is all the people that voted for Trump, he won everything. He won by over 2 million votes, a popular vote, can be overridden by a district court judge. God knows who he is, and he's appointed. He's not elected.
Yeah, indeed.
He really has no. I mean, where does he get this federal power from?
Hey, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I'll tell you exactly what the interesting part about what you just said, a district judge. I'm going to take you back to 2000.
One more thing, Reese.
I got to go straight to traffic
right now. This weather's terrible.
Yes, it is. Speaking of the weather, let's get to Jason Caterina in the weather center. But Mark Christopher, he's first with your BPS traffic. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading 84 westbound, you got some delays coming out of the tunnel area out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. Looks real good, 84 eastbound Farmington out into Vernon. Southbound 91's a little slow at 32 A&B. A little slow traffic as you move into Rocky Hill between 24 and 23. Some earlier emergency road work in the left lane is now gone, so that shouldn't be there much longer. Northbound 91 moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound, no issues. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury, no problems. 84 and 8 for the Mixmaster in construction. 95 south, a little slow. 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Clear to partly cloudy and colder overnight. We'll reach an overnight low of 31. Nice and warm Tuesday. Plenty of sunshine, high 63. Clear skies Tuesday night with a low of 35. Sunshine mixing with a few clouds Wednesday. It will be pleasantly warm. We'll reach a high Wednesday of 66. Looking to Wednesday night, we'll see partly cloudy skies for the evening hours. That'll be followed by low clouds. Expect a low Wednesday night of 41. This is Drew Shannon in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, Hartford temperature 48 degrees. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Police in New Haven say an 8-year-old boy died last night in an accidental shooting. They were called around 11 to a home in the city, found the child on the kitchen floor. He was pronounced dead later at Yale New Haven Hospital. Pedestrian recovering after being struck by a vehicle Sunday in East Hartford. The accident between the pedestrian and a vehicle occurred in the area of Burnside Avenue and Hillside Street. Police say the victim is in stable condition after sustaining significant injuries. That investigation's ongoing, and police say the driver remained at the scene and is cooperating. Investigation continues into the case of a man allegedly held against his will by a stepmother for more than 2 decades in Waterbury. Police released video footage of the night the now 32-year-old set fire to their Blake Street home in an attempt to be rescued. He weighed only 68 pounds at the time, and the stepmother faces a host of charges. A rollover crash in South Windsor this morning. Fire officials there say there were no injuries in that 2-vehicle crash on Bryan Road. Driver in an SUV struck a parked car. According to fire department officials, the driver was able to get out on their own, and there's no word on whether any charges will be filed. President Trump to speak with his Russian counterpart on Tuesday in efforts to end the 3-year-old war in Ukraine. And residents and work crews spent this day in the South and Midwest cleaning up the damage from those big storms that rolled through over the weekend, producing not only tornadoes, but wildfires and dust storms as well. Over 3 dozen reported dead. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 353 points today. The NASDAQ gained 54, and the S&P finished up 36 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Something amazing is happening when power outages strike. Teams are powering through them. That's because CDW Solutions architects are building more resilient IT and electrical infrastructures with Schneider Electric. With EcoCare remote monitoring services and 24/7 support, your organization can do more than keep the lights on. Schneider Electric and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Schneider Electric.
Hey everybody, Chris Coonihan for Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection company with over 1 million satisfied homeowners. I'm here to answer all of your home maintenance questions. I have Mary from Des Moines on the line. How can I help, Mary?
You're wrong. You'll see. $100.
Mary, you there?
Hey, Chris, sorry. I'm calling to settle a bet with my husband. Okay, so is it better to deal with a clogged gutter now or wait until the weather's better?
Mary, the time is now. The longer you wait, the more damage you can have. Your husband may have lost this bet, but repairing your gutters can save your family thousands.
30 seconds.
Over the lifetime of your home.
But how much will it cost to get our gutters inspected?
Well, husband of Mary, leaf filter inspection and estimates are always free for new customers. And right now, if you go to leaffilter.com/gutter, you can get an additional 30% off.
I think I won here.
We both did. What's that site, Chris?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter. Visit today to schedule your free gutter inspection.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hi, this is former morning personality Ray Dunaway. Happy birthday, WTIC, and I'm proud to have been part of it.
What an amazing voice. Ray Dunaway. NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. We are back. Let me just
if people want more of them, he's actually going to be in tomorrow morning with Brian.
Oh, is he
Yeah, he's going to be hanging out from 7:30 to 9.
Oh, okay. No doubt. All right. Back in the building. No doubt.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about this real quick, Joey, now that I got here. So, again, I ended my business. I don't work in U-Haul anymore. I ran my own U-Haul and moving company, and I closed it down. It's been a little more than 5.5 years, and it's been a thrill. I loved it every bit. I give it to this young kid. He's in his early 30s. Took it over. He's got all the U-Haul. He's got all the moving stuff, and he's going to be doing roadside assistance for like all these different companies. And so I practically gifted it. I mean, that's the way I sold it. It was practically gifted. Got him the space, the whole 9 yards, put him in touch with U-Haul. He's got everything going. Changed over to the lease to the spot. He was there all weekend. He was calling me up anytime he needed assistance. Absolutely gave him. And then this morning we find out now 3 trucks were stolen at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oof, that's horrible.
And the inside the shed, which is sort of like our little house that's there, somebody got the door open, went inside. They took our mini fridge. They took our computer tablet for us to do the dispatching of the vehicle. They took our tools. They took a big industrial fan. They didn't take the air conditioners. They didn't take the another small fan that's in there. But they took all the keys to the trucks and drove them right off the lot. And we have a gated, locked facility. And a man and a woman at 3 o'clock in the morning came in and took everything.
Damn.
Just drove off with it. And we got it on camera at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I could only think that the people who robbed us are former customers to the U-Haul. They knew exactly where to go. They knew exactly what to grab. They were in at 3:10. She was out, 3:03. She was out with the first truck at 3:10. He didn't pull the large truck out until 4:23. So he was ransacking the place. Now, there are 2 buildings, 2 structures on the lot. There's our structure where we have an office where our U-Haul, and the second structure, they have a building and they have a locked glass door, which they could have kicked open and robbed them if they had anything in there. But they took all of our stuff, loaded it obviously on a 26-foot truck because he was there for an hour. But he even tried to take their water heater on the first building, the main building. That was detached from the building and all the copper gone. So they were there he was there by himself for a good hour and ransacked everything. And I get this phone call after, I'm supposed to be dealing with my first Monday where only thing I have to do is WTIC, and I leave my phone at home and I come back. It was like, Joshua was his name, calls me up and says, "Hey, did you come out of the office at any time?" And I'm like, "No." And I said, "Is everything okay?" He's like, "Not really." And so we drove down there and we found out that everything was stolen. And so I felt guilty. I mean, literally, I thought the guy was going to say, "Screw your business, you can have it back." Because I was like, I'm never leaving this place. I'm going to have to stay here forever. But he was like, nah, don't worry about it, man. This don't deter me. He goes, we're going to be okay. I didn't lose anything that would matter to me. I lost the stuff that was taken was really mine that I had left there. So he didn't really lose anything. So he's fine. And he's going to be okay. But I wasn't feeling all that good. I felt like I felt like I gave him a dud. You ever sell somebody a lemon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not that you ever have, but you know what that means? Like, if you sell somebody something that's bad, he was having a great weekend. And then to come back and find all of this stuff stolen in the beginning, I'm like, ugh, what a way to start off your first 3 days running a business or running your own business. And it was horrible. But it's a part of me that actually makes me feel good that all they did was take stuff that could be replaced. You know, it's like it wasn't that bad of a deal, but it still bothers me. I feel like I gave him something that stinks, you know? Like I sold him a fart. That's what I feel. It's awful. All right, let's get into our weather and traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I feel horrible.
Reese, thank you very much.
You're clear.
For right now, westbound 8410.
Oh, man, that sucks for that dude.
I know.
45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound, looking real good. Farmington to Vernon. No issues, 91 north and south between Cromwell and Windsor Locks. Good ride, 291 384 2 eastbound. No issues heading Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury looks good, 84 and 891 on the Parkway. Easy ride toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight. The low dipping down to 34. Then warm the next couple of days. Lots of sunshine on Tuesday. The high up to.
I mean, kudos for him for being like, we're just going to move on.
Yeah,
the high
yeah,
of
he's
66.
that
Thursday,
kid's got.
Breezy in the afternoon with a couple of showers.
That's a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
reminds me of me, man. When I first met him, I was like, I love this kid. I'm like, God, why couldn't he be the one going to Citadel?
48 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Middlesex Health welcomes the Connecticut Golf Show, March 21st through 23rd at the Connecticut Convention Center. See golf exhibits, top-level manufacturers with Chris Cody's golf shops, huge sales, golf simulators, lesson zones, and more. For details, ctgolfshow.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss. It is now, week 5. He just got done checking in with his coach. Let's see where we are. Phil.
Today was the weigh-in time. I'm down 30 pounds since 5 weeks ago today.
Here we go. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Hi, this is the voice of the Hartford Yard Goats, Jeff Dooley. Be sure to join me for the Yard Goats season preview show on Friday, March 21st at 6 p.m. from spring training in Scottsdale, Arizona, right here on WTIC. We'll hear from manager Bobby Meacham, check in on some former goats now in the big leagues, look at potential roster candidates. We'll also talk new fun promotions to look out for. It's the Yard Goats season preview show, Friday evening, March 21st from 6 to 7 on WTIC and WTIC.com.
Seems everything costs more these days.
1 minute.
Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit ConsumerCellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
And you know, in this break, it's time for you to get on those phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, so you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, your bagel, bakery, and sandwich cafe. Still no word on the Reese on the Radio sandwich, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I will keep you posted. But if you want to go down to Between Rounds, if you can't wait for your dozen bagels, go check them out in South Windsor, in Vernon, and in Manchester. And we'll get to that call. Just, get on the phone so you can win. There's this story that I'm hearing everywhere about Donald Trump discussing the auto pen with Joe Biden's pardons. I thought this was interesting because it's being reported that Donald Trump says that the pardons are null and void. But what he said was he believes that they are null and void in his opinion, but he says it's up to the courts to decide. So I feel like there is this sort of, there's this misstatement going on about this. Here's the president.
Those executive orders, those pardons from the president now null and void.
I think so. It's not my decision. That'll be up to a court. But I would say that they're null and void because I'm sure Biden didn't have any idea that it was taking place.
Yeah. In my opinion, he says, but that's just my opinions. But yeah, I think it's up to the courts to decide. So Donald Trump doesn't say that in his opinion, they'd have to be null and void. But look, I'm just saying, excuse me, in my heart of hearts, here's what I'm trying to say. And think about this. What's his name? Gosh, why am I forgetting his name now? I don't even understand why I'm forgetting his name now. Mike Johnson? Yes, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson. I have so many things on my mind. Mike Johnson told that story to Barry Weiss on the Free Press. And he tells that wonderful story about how he thought he was going to get ambushed in a meeting with the president. He went publicly and said, I can't meet with the president. They won't let me meet with the president. Why won't they let me meet with the president? When he finally gets the meeting, after he goes to the press and he has to bully them into giving him a meeting with President Joe Biden, he gets to the meeting. He's met there with Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and I think somebody else. He thinks he is going to be ambushed about some bill, some appropriation bill, whatever the case may be, but he didn't want anything to do with it. I just want to meet with the president, he says. So finally, Joe Biden says, hey, man, can I get a minute with the speaker? So because he's the president of the United States, everybody goes, okay. Reluctantly, he said he saw the eyes glaze over because the president said, I'd like a minute with him. He leaves. And he says, Mr. President, before we get into anything, I would like to tell you or ask you about a bill that you signed, about a liquid natural gas bill that you signed. An executive order that stopped liquid natural gas from leaving Louisiana, my state. And he goes, I didn't do that. He goes, yes, you did. You signed an executive order. Can we go to your secretary and have them print it out so you can read it yourself? And he says, no, I didn't do that. I know I didn't do that. He goes, yes, you did, sir. You definitely did. And then Biden says, no, it was a bill for research on liquid natural gas. So if I'm hearing that from the President of the United States, It means that someone, I don't know whom, has the president signing executive orders under the auspice, they're for one thing when they're really about another. So therefore, President Joe Biden, former President Joe Biden, has no idea what he's signing. Sad part about it is that it may be too late to even ask him, hey, do you remember signing a preemptive pardon for your son? Did I do that? I don't remember that. Dr. Jill, did I do that? Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that the man may have been signing. If it was auto pen, the question does become, did he know about it? Are they briefing him today? By the way, if anybody asks, Mr. President, you authorized those auto pen signatures. Or maybe somebody knows, but I mean, look, I ask whether or not there's any truth. All right, I'm asking whether or not there's any validity to whether or not the pardons are, let's just say, legally binding. I have that question, and I think it's a fair question. What really baffled me, and I want to get to this, which I thought was amazing of an answer, was, let me see if I can find her real quick. I don't have she put out a tweet, so there's no audio of this. But this was one of Biden's aides who put out a tweet responding to the president after the president said that. Her name is Neera Tanden. She says, more importantly, does this mean everything with a Trump auto pen signature is void in this administration and the last? Because there's a lot of auto pen in every administration. Some enterprising lawyers may want to sue. So she's not pushing back on whether or not these were auto penned. That sounds like a confirmation to me. But if it was auto pen, shouldn't we find out if the president signed off on it? I mean, isn't that appropriate? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think it's appropriate to ask. Zapper Creek says, your stepson isn't going to the Citadel. He's going on tour with Dave Matthews Band and selling T-shirts and traveling the country. Don't even start. Don't even start. I said to him, I'll tell you this. I said to him that he's got to legitimize this route. Doing DoorDash and then traveling to Chicago. I understand he wants to go to Germany as well because he went to Germany last year and he wants to go back. DoorDash isn't going to make him enough money to go. The flight alone is about $1,500. And he's supposed to stay there a week. Craig says, I can't even get a truck financed without a wet signature. Never mind a presidential executive order. Yeah, I know. I don't understand it, but that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to suggest to us that there's nothing suspicious about an auto pen signature on a pardon, especially of this magnitude. Now, again, a commutation for a bunch of people, auto pen sound, okay, fine. I don't expect that guy at 82 to be signing over 1,000. I think he did 1,000, if I'm correct. What do you do, like 1,300? 1,300 pardons or commutations? I don't expect him to sign. Are you kidding me? Carpal tunnel. We're talking about far worse than that. But I don't expect an auto pen on Liz Cheney's or Adam Schiff's or Adam Zinging. What's his name? Kurtzing? Whatever his name is. I don't know. Kinzinger. That's his name. Adam Kinzinger's preemptive pardon. That sounds like White House counsel. Something about that sounds fishy. So we'll find out. I don't know if, like I said, it'll be up to a court to decide. We'll see whether or not that someone will actually bring that case. I also want to say I congratulate, what's her name, Caroline Levitt, for taking it to that French member of parliament, talking about giving back the Statue of Liberty. I know this is going to sound a little controversial, but I love giving unpopular opinions about certain things. I kind of feel like the Statue of Liberty is a waste of space. And I know that's not popular. I know it's not. I think it is. Have you ever been inside of the Statue of Liberty? Have you ever gone there? You ever climbed up inside the Statue of Liberty to go up there? It is the worst tourist attraction ever invented. It is a god-awful experience. I've never enjoyed it, especially if you're claustrophobic and afraid of heights, as I am. That was the worst thing I ever did as a child, was go to the Statue of Liberty. I went on the Circle Line. Have you ever done that, Joey? Please tell me you've done it. Like they sent you to New York to go into the Statue of Liberty. Please say you've done that at least once in your childhood.
No, but it's on my bucket list.
Why? You're going to hate it. Take it off. I'm telling you, it is, you know what it is? It's a spiral stairway to mediocrity. That's all it is. It's just, and it's
one of my sons, the one who has no idea what he wants to do with his life.
Yeah.
He's actually going in a couple of weeks because we're hosting an exchange student for 2 weeks as part of their trip.
I am going, can I make $1 bet with you? And I'll owe you $1 if I fail. I'm going to make $1 bet with you. Take it right now. He's never going to go up in that thing. He's never going to.
Probably not.
Let me tell you why.
Stairs.
Let me tell you why. No, it's not just that. Trust me. Every kid who goes never makes it in. They never do. The lines are too long.
Yeah.
It takes forever. And again, we're talking, listen to me. It is a skinny spiral staircase that goes all the way up. And if it's raining, the water comes right through and the stairs are slippery. So you spend an hour on the stairs going up the thing. And when you do, you get to look outside of the crown, and you only get to look out there for, if you're lucky, 5 seconds. It's like going to an observation deck on a high-speed elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to walk.
When he went to France last year, he got to see the Mona Lisa. But it was the same thing. It was like literally a drive-by taking pictures. Like there was so many people you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and the
So
Mona
everyone's
Lisa's like,
rushing
it looks like a stamp.
It's an 8x10 letter frame on the wall, and he's like holding his. So I have a blurry picture of the Mona Lisa. It's like, thanks, buddy.
I keep trying to tell people, don't do it. You go there, you see it, it looks beautiful, but you know what? Just take pictures of it, like, from the ground. Take a great picture of it. Take a great picture of it on the Circle Line when you're going to it. It's a great photograph. You get the water, you get the whole thing, the whole experience. But when you get there, it isn't worth it. So if they got rid of the Statue of Liberty tomorrow, I know that it's, in essence, people would say, well, it's a part of the skyline. No, it isn't. And practically, it's in New Jersey. It's not even
a scrap copper you can get from it, though.
That's also true. But if France wants it back, no problem. We can build our own, and probably a lot better. But that experience is horrible. And if the French is not known for building things like this, they're just not. Just not architectural.
Beautiful cathedrals, but yeah.
Yes, this is just not their thing. You know what? Since nobody bothered, Eric in Hartford, he's our last but not least caller of the day. How we doing, Eric?
Great to see you, Reese. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good, sir. You are our recipient of a dozen bagels, courtesy of Between Rounds, our bagel bakery and sandwich cafe. What do you got for me, sir?
Hey, real quick, Q1's ending here, 2025. What's your thoughts on the first quarter, either politically? You got sports, you got a whole bunch of things going on. What's your thoughts on Q1 of 2025 finishing up?
I will say that so far it has been newsworthy, eventful. Connecticut is on the map for insane, crazy news. Look, even though I'm not really a big fan of these guys, but they kept themselves in the circuit. That meaning William Tong, Lamont not so much, but Blumenthal and Murphy. I think that they're actively putting Connecticut on the map. UConn made it interesting. At least the women's made number 2, so I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
They could win a national title if they keep it together. But then again, if you put them on your bracket, they will probably not do so well. I hope they don't get upset this year.
I love your show. Appreciate the bagels. Between rounds is fantastic. And I got to tell you, I love your show and always love listening to you. Thank you very much for keeping it alive.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. That is Eric in Hartford, who wins our last but not least caller of the day. All right, it's time for me to get up out of here. And like I said, stay tuned for tomorrow's monologue. I'll give you some details on that. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Good night, Joey. Good night, Dave. Not Dave. Jason. And good night, Mark.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, buddy. All right, we're out of here.
Great night if you're celebrating, and if you had a little bit too much, grab that Uber on the ride home. We want anybody to get hurt tonight. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford,
you are clear, sir.
Thank you, sir.
8491, Route 291, and 3.
All right, see you in the funny
very
pages.
Well,
yep.
Waterbury's okay, 84 and 8. Easy ride toward New Haven on 91 and the Parkway. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC.
All right, thank you. Good night, Richard. Good night, Michael A. Everybody, thank you for a wonderful show. Monday's always pretty slow. We got plenty of stuff to get into, but we'll get into that tomorrow afternoon. I'll have some details on Janet Serrano. I'm in the middle of communicating with her now, so I'll tell you guys all about that tomorrow, all right? You guys, peace out. Love you. Be good to each other.